Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm in my basement here in Kansas, and I got three guests with me on this live stream talking about top 10 electric light orchestra or ELO songs. And very happy to got three really great guests, really good friends that I've met here on YouTube. First, we got Garrett from Soundlabs Studios. This,
Hello, how are you? Have
there you
you
go.
been all right?
That song will come up
It will.
on my list for
Yeah.
sure. This is the first time Garrett's been on my channel, Soundlab Studios. I've been on his channel, I think, 4 times maybe, at least, on doing live streams. Garrett and I met through Reactions to the Classics YouTube channel, which is a great channel. And yeah, I kind of knew Soundlab Studios, the name, but I didn't know who
Yeah.
Garrett was until because Garrett didn't start his channel yet when I first met Garrett. And you were talking about, hey, I think about starting a channel. I was like, yeah, I definitely like start a channel. It's fun. And once he started his channel, I was very happy to get to be on it and all that, and get to know Garrett a little bit better. And he's got what do you got over 130 subscribers now?
131.
Yeah,
I just started doing YouTube Shorts. I had like 119. I have 131 now because the Shorts are making my subscribers get higher. So I'm
that's
gonna
cool.
keep working on the Shorts. If you want to help improve your
Yeah.
subscribers, just like
Okay,
even just taking a few quick videos of just albums in your collection and putting music behind it. I got like almost 1,000 views on my Abbey Road video. So
okay. I haven't started
Wow.
doing that.
Mm.
Yeah. I know Adam and Bryer, you do shorts, don't you?
A few,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I need to
I
start
just
doing
did one
that.
today, actually.
mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to say a little bit about your channel, Garrett, and what you do?
Soundlabs Studios, as you can see, the banner behind me says. I've been doing this YouTube channel since about November, I think. Uh, Whenever I started, it was just my friend Jeremy and me doing album reviews. We
Yeah.
started with The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, which the format for those reviews looks very different than it does now. Back then, we
Yeah.
would play the album and we only did this once for Ziggy Stardust, but we played the album on the
Yeah.
review and recorded ourselves. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't hear the music because we were like copyright's going to cut us down for that. But we would play the album and I would just edit the parts out with just us talking. As I'm like, "What is this? Like I like this part of the song. Like oh this is cool." And then we would stop and we'd do a review of the whole first side of the album
Yeah.
because I'm big into records. And we would talk about that. Then we'd listen to the second side, do a review of the second side, and give a score 1 to 10. That's kind of what I started out doing. Then I made some vinyl videos, just showing off my collection. Then Bryers Music Showcase, who we're going to talk to in a minute, and another guy, Nick Yarambensky, shout out to him.
Hmm.
They started doing live streams with me on Sunday, either ranking the discography of an artist or doing top 10 songs of an artist. We started doing those, and eventually my friend Joseph joined whenever we did the review of Pink Floyd's The Wall after hitting 100 subscribers. Now it's us three are kind of the main group on there, and then Bryer, Nick, and me are kind of the other group who do it on the um, ranking the discographies or top 10 videos. But if you want to see mainly what I do, go check my channel out. It's mainly album reviews, but there's also some other fun stuff.
Yeah.
We got a
Hmm.
alternate personality named
Yeah.
the Trippy Hippie who has an opinion on everything. He's really old, cranky, and has really weird opinions on.
Yeah. Not the usual takes. Yeah.
It's not what you would expect. And
Yep.
I also what else do I do on my channel? Because we already went over the other things. It's mainly just album reviews.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, the Trippy Hippie will pop up and do a funny video, and I have these live streams. Oh, I'm currently doing an album of the year series on Saturday mornings
Hmm.
with my friend Nick.
Nick.
We just go through every year from 1965 to I think we're going to go up to 1983 and talk about our three favorite albums of every year. So that's what we do on my channel.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think my favorite trippy hippie take is the Beatles cover songs were better than the originals.
Oh,
I think that made me laugh the most out of all of them. Like, okay, I haven't heard anybody say that one.
and that's why he
Yeah.
likes Beatles for Sale the best.
Beatles sells the best album. Yeah. Yeah, Garrett has great. I love the album reviews. He just did one this morning with Nick, or album of the year. Yeah, he started. Did he start with 65? I can't remember, but
Yeah.
he
Oh,
just did
and
69.
guitar covers. I forgot about that. I was
He
doing
played
Moving
guitar.
Pictures by Rush, but then I stopped because the camera eye is difficult. But I need to get back into that.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, you also play guitar sometimes on the channel. But yeah, I love the year in reviews. I really love participating in those on the
Yeah.
in the live chats or whatever. And then the album rankings on Sundays with Nick and Bryer are really fun. And I've been a part of a couple of those.
Yeah.
I just
I like the
definitely
ones that you've showed up for. Those have been fun.
Yeah.
CCR and Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, those are two I've done. And I definitely learned a lot that I didn't know about some of these bands, and makes me want to get into their albums. So that's really.
I think that Jason and Adam are going to be on my channel in a few weeks for ranking the Police. So
Yeah.
a little sneak preview.
Yeah, that's one I need to get into now. So
And don't let those two songs that they played scare you away, because those are
that was
there's
really
one other song that's even worse, but there's those three songs are the only really really bad ones in their discography. They've got some really really great stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, but yeah, so that's Garrett's channel, Soundlabs Studios. Then I got Bryers from Bryers Music Showcase, formerly known as Bryers CD Showcase, I believe. But now he's Music Showcase
Because he has records too.
Because now he's added records to his list.
Just not big, just a little bit,
Sheer Heart Attack,
collection right now.
Whatever that Yes album is. Guilty by Barry Gibb
Relayer,
and Barbra Streisand.
Yeah,
there it is.
Jewel right here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Bryer,
there's no record in it though.
It's just the sleeve.
What are you, almost to 700 or 800? I can't remember. You're like getting close to.
I just hit 700 this morning. Actually.
Oh, you got
wow.
And
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's because of his YouTube.
I haven't said. Yes, this mainly the shorts that really help right now, because there could be a chance somebody could unsubscribe and I can go back to under 700. So I'm giving you at least a couple days.
I feel like you've been gaining hundreds of subscribers the last couple months or something crazy like that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I personally don't know, but yeah, I just keep doing what I do, and I guess it's starting to pay off.
Oh yeah, because it feels like it's just not that long ago. It's like, oh, I reached 400, and it's like, oh wow, cool. Yeah. And then like a week later, I hit 500. I'm like, what the heck?
Every week, it's got good content, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know. So that's great. I'm happy that you're getting that, Bryer. You want to talk about your channel, Bryer? I know you've been on here a couple times.
I've been here a few times. So basically, my channel, like the name suggests, like I talk about music a lot. Like Jason mentioned, I was originally CD Showcase because I just had CDs at that point. But thanks to Garrett, I started having a little bit of vinyl. And so kind of to make it a bit more fair, I kind of had to make it a bit more broad. So, but yeah, I think it kind of fits me a little bit better because I do talk about a lot of type of music, all different types of genres. Like every month I do a CD haul where I go through all the CDs I bought, and it just shows just how kind of diverse my taste can be. Like 1 month it could be like metal, jazz, pop. I mean last month I bought Katy Perry, so I can go from Katy Perry to Black Sabbath in a snap. So that pretty much sums me up in terms of my musical taste. But yeah. I talk about different topics. Like I'll come up with a topic and I'll kind of just run with it. And then I do some shorts as well. I try not to make it too often, but they've been helpful. and the one short series I've been doing is like every anniversary of an album of its 50th anniversary, I do a short, kind of just promoting the album. Like I did one for Blue Oyster Cult's Tyranny and Mutation, and that one did pretty well. It just got 1,000 views already. So, but yeah, yeah. So I do, yeah. That's pretty much my channel in a nutshell. Just music, pretty much 24/7.
Yeah, I love how Bryer's channel, he'll say, well, I'm not going to buy any CDs this month. I need it. And then a couple of later, he does a video where he got 10 CDs or something.
Yeah.
You said that every month.
Yeah, every month. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you're watching an addict who's trying to quit but can't. And,
I know.
but,
Only one month I was able to do it. And that was
Okay.
August. And I didn't. That was because I was doing my CD collection series when I went through my collection at the time. So, I think if I have like a series to keep me distracted, then maybe I'll get through it.
again, if you got married, that would help. Your wife would stop like that.
I know.
But
I just got cats.
you just got cats.
Yeah.
You're like, should I buy a new album? Okay, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah. They don't need much. They don't need much.
Yeah. All right, and then I got Adam from What the Gym, my first and most collaborator on the channel.
Yeah.
How you doing, Adam?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Jason. It's great. It's great to be on your channel once again.
I know. Yeah. If I don't have Adam on the channel every once in a while, I feel like I'm missing something. Like, I got to get Adam again, or I got to be on his channel, or getting people together, which is great. I love that. This is the most people I've gotten together on the channel, so it's great getting everybody. And of course, Bryer and Garrett have worked together quite a bit. Adam and Garrett, you guys, this is like the first time you guys have been on a live stream together, I think, right?
Yes, but it won't be the last.
It definitely won't be.
Yeah. Because when I met Garrett, and I was like, man, my thought was like, man, we need to get Bryer and Adam together also. And I don't know, because how did you meet Garrett, Bryer? Was it?
I think it was Garrett who reached out to me first, because he was doing the live stream with the Who ranking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he reached out to me, and that was kind of where it started.
Yeah, and so I was like so happy when Bryer got on there, because I was like, I always thought, oh, Bryer would work really well with Garrett and Nick, and you guys have done really good on that. And then I always thought Adam should be on too, because I think we'd all get along together pretty well.
It's really funny because I was rewatching whenever I had to rewatch all of the entries into my contest whenever I had that, and Bryer, it was literally like the week before we did that live stream. He's like, we're going to be doing this live stream, and I think there's going to be another guy on there too. And then it's like, oh, it's like he hadn't even met Nick.
Yeah, I hadn't met Nick yet at the time.
Yeah. Nick's another one I have to get on at some time.
Nick has a very large library of records, and is very knowledgeable about 60s music.
Oh, he's like an encyclopedia. I'm so impressed when I watch how much he puts off. Like, we talk about Simon Garfunkel, and he's like, I'll say something, he'll correct me on it, be like, well, actually, they did that on whatever. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I didn't know. like, gosh, you got me, Nick. Like,
well, I didn't know that like half of their songs came from the Paul Simon songbook.
You keep bringing up the Paul Simon songbook, and I was like, oh, I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't prepared for that, and I was like, and then I said the stupid stuff like, oh, this is such original thing, and he's like, well, actually, they did it on this. I'm like, oh, forget it. I guess it wasn't as original as I thought it was, but
I listened to the Paul Simon songbook. Like, honestly speaking, the Simon and Garfunkel versions are better. Don't tell him I said that unless he's watching. But
yeah, Nick's cool. I like Nick. We got something from Trippy Hippie here. As usual. I don't like ELO. The strings hurt my head. That's my impression of Hippie.
Sounds just like him.
That being said, No Answer is probably their best. No Answer. I don't even know what No Answer is.
That's the debut.
Is that the debut? Oh.
Yeah, it's the debut.
I thought it was like Electric Light Orchestra. Is that different? Is that another name?
There's the story behind it is that they it was originally was called the Electric Light Orchestra. It was supposed to be a self-titled, but when they were telling distributors in the U.S., like I could be wrong, but one of the representatives called like the management and says, "What's the name of the album?" But nobody answered. So they're like, "Oh no." And so when they got no answer, they went to the distributors and like, "So what's the name of the album?" And they're like, "No answer." And it was like, "Okay, let's do it."
Yeah, I wouldn't say that was my favorite of his albums for
Yeah.
sure.
Not one of my favorites either.
It was, yeah, I don't like that one.
Yeah, Sam saying hey.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Sam is so smart. Like I did a deep dive on ELO the other day. I did a whole like 23-minute video just kind of going a little bit through their history and talking about what I like about them and giving some trivia facts, whatever, and my favorite albums. And then Sam writes me this whole big paragraph like on all this stuff about ELO that I didn't know about. I was like, geez, like, man, he knows so much more than I do. And I just did this whole video. And I'm like, man, I just feel like I know almost nothing. Every time I talk about something, there's always somebody who knows so much more than I do. And I'm like, man, I feel like I don't know anything. But Sam is great. Love to get him on as well at some point. But yeah, so we're talking about ELO, doing a top 10. And I did my deep dive yesterday and talked about Electric Light Orchestra. It's a band I really didn't know anything about growing up. I don't know why. There's like a band I just missed on because growing up I listened to the oldie station and listened to all the classics, and that name just never popped up growing up. So the first time I heard about them was in 2017 when they got inducted into the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was watching it and they're like Electric Light Orchestra. I'm like, oh, who's this band? And they're getting inducted in Hall of Fame. I'm like, never heard of them. And George Harrison like did an interview at some point they showed, I think, and he was talking about how like they were like the next Beatles or something. I was like, wow, like that's a pretty big compliment. Like,
Jason, have you ever heard of the Traveling Wilburys?
Yeah. I have their greatest hits that Adam gave me.
Oh yeah.
And I've listened to disc 1 so far, so I still have disc 2 and disc 3 to listen to. But
okay,
I'm enjoying what I'm listening to so far. But yeah. And here's my sister. Didn't know them either. Yeah. And I don't know what that is. I don't know why. I just never heard of them until that happened. I was like, oh, okay. I guess this is a big band or something I didn't know about. And like going through the discography, in fact, the only 2 songs I really knew, I think, was Don't Bring Me Down and Evil Woman. Like when I heard those, I was like, oh yeah, I remember hearing those on the radio. But besides that, I don't remember any of these other songs on the radio growing up. And I don't know if that was just me. I say growing up listening to oldie stations, of course, because this was before my time. But I don't know. ELO just never was big in my life. And then I heard about him. I was like, oh, okay, this sounds interesting. Maybe I should listen to him. And it wasn't only until the last 2 years that I was doing my top 100 favorite albums. And I was like, okay, what's the top ELO album? And it seemed to be a Whole New Record was like their top album, at least from what I researched. So I was like, okay, I'll listen to this album. And so I listened to it and I was like, man, I love this album. It's a great album. It's in my top 100 favorite albums that I've done. I already done them on my list. And then I was like, well, it's one of those things where I keep putting off. I'm like, I got to listen to more ELO, but I keep putting it off because there's so many other bands I want to listen to. And anyway, so then I did a poll a couple months ago and I listed like 4 band artists. And I said, which one of these do you want me to do a deep dive on? And ELO won the poll. So obviously they're very well liked. They have a big fan base. It's just funny. It's just one of those bands that I totally missed out on for some reason. And yet when I listen to their discography, they're great. I love what I'm hearing. And I've gone through all their albums and like I said, Whole New Records, my favorite, but Out of the Blue is probably second, and then Secret Messages is probably third. But I would say from like Face the Music to Balance of Power, I think all those albums are actually pretty good to great. Anyway, so I say all that to say that I'm just such a newbie on ELO, but I like to go to you guys, starting with Garrett. What's your relationship with ELO?
So my relationship with Electric Light Orchestra started way back in middle school. It was either late middle school or early high school, one of those. And I was really big into music then. This was just like literally right before I was starting my journey through popular music. But I like music just in general because I was learning to play the piano, and I had the what did I have the Beatles guitar? Yeah, I had the Beatles Guitar Hero game then,
Yeah.
and so I was just getting into the Beatles, which was kind of kickstarting my journey into popular music. And um, we're sitting there in piano lessons one day because I was in choir and I was taking piano lessons, and like I really liked orchestra music because I was a big fan of John Williams.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the 3 expanded editions of the Star Wars soundtracks, and I would listen to those a lot. And I liked orchestra music. So we're sitting there in piano lessons because I think my youngest brother is taking piano lessons, and my younger brother is talking to me and my mom about a song that he heard on the radio the other day. And he's like, "This is like the greatest song I've ever heard. It's got a choir and it's a rock song."
Yeah.
And it goes something like ba ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba da ba da, and he's like, "That's all I can remember." And so we're like, we can't just. That was before they had the hum feature on Siri or Google, and so we're like, we can't just go. What is ba ba da ba ba da ba 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 da ba da ba da? And
Yeah.
so we're like, right, we're not going to be able to ever hear what this song was because he talked about it and it was like, this sounded like the coolest thing ever because it's like a choir and an orchestra with rock music. I'm like, I got to hear this. And so we're just sitting there, and then like I don't remember who it was, but one of us is like, "Yo, that song was in Megamind." You remember that
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I
animated movie
remember.
Megamind with
Yeah,
Will
yeah.
Ferrell?
Yeah.
It's in a scene in that, and we're
Oh,
like, okay, let's play. And we play the scene, and like, sure enough, there's bump, 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 and we're like, oh, this is so cool. And so like, we're like, but what's the name of it? So we fast forward to the end of the credits, and there it is, Mr.
uh,
Blue Sky by the
yeah.
Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah. Okay.
So we buy the Electric Light Orchestra's Greatest Hits CD so that we can hear Mr. Blue Sky, and um, like we're like, this is like one of the greatest songs we've ever heard, and we played some of the other songs, and like being very inexperienced in popular music and especially more artsy pieces, I found some of the songs on there to be very off-putting at first.
Okay.
We'll get around to it, but like stuff like the intro to Telephone Line, I'm like, why in the world is there a telephone solo in the beginning of the song?
Telephone. Yeah.
Or like some of the songs like Shine a Little Love has that Galaga sounding synthesizer and like
Yeah. I love that.
but we listened to a lot of those songs like over and over again, and that's the only exposure that I had had a ELO until actually 2021. And like as soon oh wait no, it was 2022. Wow, that was just last year.
Last year.
Just last year, I thought, you know what? I've never listened to a full Electric Light Orchestra album, and I remember loving. And I'm not going to say any of the songs because that would kind of give away which ones are my favorites. But I'm like, let's listen to an ELO album. So I turn on Out of the Blue, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is rock and roll Mozart. This is like one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna do a deep dive and listen to all the albums because that's what I like to do whenever I get into an artist. So I went back, I listened, and like no answer is like, is this the same band? But then listening to all of their albums, I'm like, this is a really good band, and I found a lot of songs that weren't any of their greatest hits that I really liked, and a few of those might show up on my lists. But that's my relationship with ELO.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I love the orchestra combination with the rock music is just what makes them unique, I think. But yeah. Okay, Bryer, what's been your history with them?
Yeah. So kind of a similar stories. I think it was about when I was in middle school, freshman year of high school, because that was kind of where I was starting to get into more older type of music. And I have a running gag on my channel where I will say like I first heard the song from this infomercial from back in the day, and I didn't hear ELO in that infomercial. It was actually in a different infomercial by the same company who was promoting this compilation CD. So this compilation CD, like the compilation CD, was just classic rock, like everything classic rock. That's the whole compilation. Like it was like a 18 CD like thing. I never bought it, but I would just watch the infomercials because they were just playing all this music I had not heard before.
Yeah.
I think it was in that infomercial I heard Deep Purple for the first time, Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Trying to think of others like the Guess Who. So that was like a good like good taste, like a good sample of different artists that I could probably check out for myself. And one of the songs, I'm not going to say which song it was because is in my top 10, but yeah, that was like my first time where I first saw the name Electric Light Orchestra. And I probably heard songs like way back, but probably in the background. I didn't pay attention to it. But yeah, I knew the name Electric Light Orchestra. So for a long time, for many years, I've just had this CD, Greatest
That's
Hits.
the one. That's
Yep.
the one.
Yeah, the same one Adam has back there. So I've had this
Yeah.
for the longest time. This has pretty much been all I've needed for a while. But it wasn't until last year, it's in 2022, where I was on Amazon one day and I was like just curious. I looked up Electric Light Orchestra CDs, and literally like the first 8 albums were like $4 a piece. So I was like, that was a good deal. So I just went and bought those first 8.
Man.
And so last year was kind of the first time I actually dive deep into their albums.
Okay.
Which was kind of perfect because Jason asked me to do this live stream here, so that was pretty convenient. So yeah, so that's pretty much been my history of ELO. It's always like Garrett says, just a wonderful band. I mean, like I think Paul McCartney has said, or one other Beatle has said, like if the Beatles had continued, it would have sounded like Electric Light Orchestra.
That's what they said.
Yeah. So, and you can definitely hear the Beatles' influence throughout their catalog, and it just shows just how much of a big fan Jeff Lynne really is. And of course, he's worked with a lot of them. He's worked with Paul and George, and he's also been working with Tom Petty. So I would definitely say that Jeff Lynne is definitely one of those musical geniuses that we have that's still around. So yeah, that's my history with ELO.
Yeah, I mentioned on my deep dive the other day. I was like, well, they broke up in 1986. Jeff Lynne basically like left the group, I guess, and that group kind of just disbanded as what I read. And I didn't really read on what Jeff Lynne did. I just like, well, I'm sure Jeff Lynne went on and did solo work, and I know he produced a lot of albums with George Harrison. Him and George Harrison are pretty close, it seemed like. And then they came back in the early 2000s. And then Jeff Lynne like formed a group called Jeff Lynne's ELO, and they've done like 2 albums or so together. I don't think it's probably considered their best work, maybe, but it's considered part of their 15 albums from what I saw on Wikipedia, anyways. But Sam St. John was like messaging me like, "Oh, he had 2 solo albums." I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know he had 2 solo albums. I guess I haven't listened."
I didn't know either.
Yeah, and then he did Traveling Wilburys, which I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about them.
Oh yeah.
And there's also The Move.
Oh yeah, The Move. I've heard that.
Which, well, I'll talk more about them when I get to a certain song on my top 10.
Yeah. Will you say something, Adam?
Yeah, I've actually heard Jeff Lynne's solo albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on Spotify.
Are they good?
Yeah, I really enjoy them.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
I'll have to check that out, I guess. I haven't known much about that part, but yeah, so Sam like knew all this information. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I wish I should have put that in my video, but yeah, very interesting stuff. All right, Adam, what's your history with ELO? And I forgot to ask you about your channel because I know you've been on here quite a bit. I don't know if you want to talk about your channel a little bit or talk about ELO or.
Yeah, well, I'll quickly talk about both. So my channel is What the Gym, and I do videos to do with movies and video games and music and TV shows, but probably movies and music is what I do the most.
Mm-hmm.
I do all sorts of rankings for them and top tens, and doing all sorts of live streams and doing a few YouTube shorts. That's pretty much what I do on my channel. In terms of how long I've known ELO, I've known ELO for quite a few years. The first couple of songs I knew were Mr. Blue Sky, which I think I've always known that song really.
Okay.
And also Living Thing, that was one of the earlier ELO songs I knew. And it was my dad that got me into them really. It's about 2019.
Yeah.
And I listened to more of their albums. I think it was late 2021. I listened to some of their albums. That was when I heard Out of the Blue and New World Record. All those classics. I've been an ELO fan ever since.
Yeah, when I started, I was going to do ELO. I know Garrett was a big fan because I heard him talk about it on his channel. I knew Adam was a fan because I've heard him talk about it as well. I didn't know about Bryer. I don't know if I've heard him talk about it, but when I mentioned it, he's like, "Yeah, I got 8 albums." I'm like, "Okay, well, you're on the stream then." I only have one album, and that's Out of the Blue, and that's because Garrett sent me this. So thanks a lot to Garrett for being generous, and this is the first album I think he's sent me. Anyway, so which is awesome. It's a double album. Yeah, real fun to listen to. Yeah, like I mentioned, like I thought, like, am I crazy in saying ELO isn't talked about a lot, or is that
No,
just
I don't
me?
think they are.
I feel like they're somewhat underrated. Is that a
I definitely say they're underrated.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like I said, I just didn't know anything about them until recently, and it's like and then when I looked them up, they've sold tons of records. They've had tons of top 40 hits, but no number ones. So it's kind of interesting to look at. And like I said, I knew "Don't Bring Me Down" and "Evil Woman." Sam told me "Mr. Blue Sky" is their most popular song, and he said it's their "Stairway to Heaven." And I was like, oh, like I didn't know it was that well liked of a song. I guess I don't remember hearing it on the radio. And I knew about it because Garrett talks a lot about Mr. Blue Sky. And so I was like, well, it must be a good song. So, of course, I had to listen to it. And it's a real great, of course, yeah, we'll talk about it. But anyways, and so I don't know, is that the best song? I mean, not the best song. Is that the most well-known song?
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
It's definitely one of them because I know it's been in a lot of movies. I mean, it was in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
It's in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't know why I totally missed out on that song until recently, and then I'm like I'm behind on all that. But anyways, I thought that was interesting when Sam was like, "No, Mr. Blue Sky is the most popular." Like I'm like, "Oh, I'm an idiot." Like I don't know. But yeah, I got Norn saying hi. Norn says we're looking super fly. And I got someone I don't see the NES Chronicles with Garrett Fleming. Great artist. What?
So that's what he was doing. So that's what Garrett was doing back there.
Oh.
I saw him. He's looking at his phone. I was like, "What is he doing?"
That was my old video game channel that I made in college.
What is this?
If you like old retro video games, go check that out.
I got very confused at first.
Oh, I was so confused. I was like, Garrett.
Is it somebody else?
I was pretending to be somebody else, but
Okay.
my name gave it.
I got you. I was like, here's a new person I don't know.
Yeah.
That's on my channel. I'm like, cool. Anyways, yeah. So we're gonna get to our top 10. We're gonna go 10 through 6, kind of go through them fairly quickly, and then do a more in depth 5 through 1. So we're gonna start with Garrett. If you want to start us off with your 10 through 6.
All right. Number 10 is a song that I don't think any of you guys are going to have on your list. It's a deep cut, but it's one of my 10 favorites just because of how weird and amazing it is. I'm going to go with Fire on High from Face the Music. It is the opening track, very atmospheric. The first thing you hear is like some footsteps and like this orchestra and boom, 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 and then you start hearing like the Hallelujah chorus in the background. And there's like a match lighting and like stuff dropping on the floor, and like you start hearing a reverse voice speaking. And what's funny is that ELO had just gotten a lot of crap from their previous album El Dorado because they had been accused of putting backwards messages that were apparently supposed to be like for the devil or something. And ELO had put out a statement saying that we did not do that. That's just us reversing ourselves saying like normal things. And so they put this very blatant reverse message at the beginning. And if
Okay.
you play it backwards, it says, "The music is reversible, but time is not. Turn back."
Okay.
So basically, it's a big troll to all the
Big
people
troll.
who thought they were sending devil messages backwards in their
Right.
music.
Right.
But then it gets the orchestra comes in really strong, and it goes again that bow 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 bow, and then this chord bow, and the choir comes in wah, and then it all cuts out, and it's just the synthesizer, and the orchestra comes back in bow 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 bow, and then it goes from scary to epic, and it's like this really cool. It's an instrumental piece, but it's this really cool instrumental piece that's like it's basically the overture to the Face the Music album. It doesn't really have any musical themes that appear later on, but I would call this the overture to Face the Music.
Okay.
And there's some really good drumming in here by Bev Bevan. He has a lot of cool drum fills that are just like, and this I like the sound that they use on the drums in this song. I like the guitar because there's some cool guitar in there too. Like as soon as it hits that big bow, 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 and then like Jeff Lynne's guitar comes in and it's like wow, wow,
Yeah, it's nice.
wow, like this really cool guitar thing, and then the strings come in, bow, 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 do, 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 and then the rocking part starts, like the acoustic part goes like and then the drums. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm being very descriptive with this instrumental piece, but this is one of my 10 favorite songs is because it's really freaky at the beginning. Like, what is that reverse talking in the Hallelujah chorus, and like stuff's dropping and there's footsteps. It's like, what's going on here? And then that whoa comes in, and then everything changes. Like that went from creepy to epic in like 5 seconds. Anyway, that's number 10. Number 9 is a more traditional song that a lot of people might know. It's Sweet Talking Woman from Out of the Blue. Very Baroque sounding. The opening violin solo. I really like that. Then like the acoustic guitar on this is good. Lots of great harmonies on this song, kind of call and response, where Jeff Lynne is singing like "Hold on, sweet talking woman," and then like the background verse is like "Hold on, hold on."
Yeah. Right.
And it's just, this is a really great song too, really catchy. But the only problem is ELO was infamous for lip syncing to this song when they performed it live. Because they had to use the orchestra tracks, they thought it would be easier to just lip sync to this song. And I've looked up a video of them on the Out of the Blue tour, and they lip sync to this song, and it's so blatantly obvious that they're lip syncing. Well, it's like they're half lip syncing. It's like you can hear Jeff's original vocals on the track behind him, but he's also singing to it live. So it's like really weird because he's like just him and an acoustic guitar, and like you can hear the original vocals, but then he's like harmonizing with the original vocals. Anyway, that's just really weird how he did that.
I don't know how you do any of these songs live, to be honest.
No, they had to use some pre-recorded orchestra tracks for some of these songs, but also they had two guys. One of the guys' name was Mick something or other. He was the violinist for ELO. He had like a blue violin that he would play. There was another guy, I forget his name, but the other guy would play the cello. And originally, those were the only two people. All the strings were like done by those two people.
Oh, really? Jeez.
And Face the Music. Oh wait, no, El Dorado. It was El Dorado was when he started using an actual orchestra. Like he would get a bunch of string. Like Mick, I forget his name. Mick, whatever his name is, was like the lead violinist. He was like whatever you would call concert master, whatever you call the first violinist, and then he would get a whole string section behind him, and then like they would have the other guy, and he would just play like the solo cello lines and stuff like that. I think that's how they did it live. Is they would use the pre-recorded string track, and then those two guys would be up front playing the string,
doing the solos.
Then we got number 8 is "Shine a Little Love" from Discovery. also known as Disco Very, because this album has a few disco-infused tracks, which, honestly, it's the 70s, and they got strings. Like, come on, you got to kind of move in a disco
Gotta do
direction
disco.
if you got strings in your group. Like, I don't hate Discovery at all. I think it's a great album.
Yeah.
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 And saying that I've got at least 2 songs from that album on this list. But this is the opening track. If you're listening on the album and not the single or the greatest hits, it starts off with like some weird ambient sounds. That's kind of like, and then like somebody's like singing opera in the background, and then just randomly out of nowhere comes this synthesizer that's making like what I mentioned earlier, like a Galaga sound. If you ever played that arcade game, it's like the sound that they make whenever they're attacking it, like, which is just like, it's basically just like if someone took their hand on a piano and went like that, pretty much.
Yeah.
But this is a very funky disco infused track. Really good strings on this one. I like the guitar, and then I like the harmonies that go like, "You shine your love on my life," boom, boom, boom. Like the interplay between the harmonies and the strings is just really good. And number 6 is kind of their second. What is it?
Did you do 7?
Oh, no, I did not. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
Number 7 is "Living Thing" from A New World Record.
All right.
This song is actually, if you listen on the album, it goes straight from "So Fine" into "Living Thing." I really like the transition between those songs.
Yeah.
Because it's like the synthesizer just going, and then the strings go,
Okay.
like this kind of like Middle Eastern sounding strings on there at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then like every once in a while who yell like, "I'm taking a dive."
Yeah.
Whenever they do that. And then it gets into this really cool pop song where the strings are playing pizzicato, like boom, 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 boom. And then it's just like the pizzicato strings and acoustic guitar. And then you'll hear these background vocals. I think the background vocals are bass player Kelly. Is it Grouchit? Is that how you say it? I know how to say Richard Tandy because that's the other guy who's singing the background vocals.
I know Tandy's the keyboardist, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Tandy and Kelly, I don't know how you say his last name. It's spelled like Grouchet, or something like that. I'm a huge fan of ELO, but I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
But I know his voice because he actually sings a few lines on some of their songs. But they're doing the background vocals here, kind of playing off that "I'm taking a dive" whenever they come in and do that.
Yeah, I love that.
And then like the choir comes in at the end. It's just really cool how they're fusing rock and roll with classical music. All right, now we're at number 6. Number 6 is kind of their second big hit. Their first big hit, their first kind of big hit was "Can't Get It Out of My Head" from El Dorado. But this is really the song that put them on the map. "Evil Woman."
Okay.
It starts off with this really nice orchestral kind of interlude or orchestral intro, and then like this chord just builds up like, and then Jeff Lynne's voice just comes in real strong. "You made a fool of me," and then it kind of gets more like with the piano and the guitar playing, and the chorus is just really catchy, and then you get that guitar riff afterward that kind of just plays along with the vocal melody, kind of switching off like "Evil Woman, dee 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 dee, evil woman, dee 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 dee," kind of playing off of each other. And what's really cool about this song is that the big climax of the song is whenever everything just cuts out and the orchestra goes, boom, "Evil Woman," and that orchestral climax is actually a reversed string section from the very next song on the album, "Night Rider."
Okay.
In the song "Night Rider," everything cuts out and it goes do 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 do, and they reversed that. So I think that's really cool how they did that.
Wow.
But Jeff Lynne said that he kind of wrote this song in 5 minutes just because they needed another song on the album, which this isn't the last time they're going to do that, make a
Okay.
hit
Yeah.
song in a hurry.
Hit song.
But
Right.
I swear, Jeff Lynne writes better songs in 5 minutes than
5
some
minutes.
people can in
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. Yeah, and you
Wow.
really bring up. They're really good at transitioning from song to song. I would say
Yes.
Mhm.
that's kind of. He's a really good arranger, I guess, or Jeff Lynne. I mean, the way the orchestra plays in with everything else is amazing. How that all works together, and the choir. He always has kind of sometimes he has an opera singer or a choir or
Oh,
something.
yeah, like in Rock Aria.
Yeah, it's so cool. But yeah, it's funny. Evil Woman. I don't know why. I was thinking there's like a Santana song called something Woman.
Black Magic Woman.
Black Magic Woman.
There's
And
a Doobie Brothers song called Evil Woman, too, so it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
then Eagles have Witchy Woman, I think. So
Yeah.
they all
So
kind
many
of
women.
there's so many something women that I get mixed up. Which one's which? But yeah, so that's good. 10 through 6 there. What's yours, Bryer?
All right. Okay. So I just have a few notes. I won't go as in depth because I wish I can go in depth, but I only go what I like. But for my number 10, I'm going to start with a song from this album. I have Don't Bring Me Down
All
for
right.
my number 10. Yeah, this is one of their biggest hits, of course.
Yeah.
This could be possibly their heaviest song because of just how big that drum sound is, which I learned that it's actually a tape loop from another song. Actually, I can't remember which song they took it from, but is that they actually took that
Talk
drum
about that
pattern.
whenever we get to Don't Bring Me Down
Yeah.
on my list.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, that's kind of where that drum beat came from. They kind of just slowed it down, so that's why it's a bit slower. So there's no strings on this one, surprisingly. This one's just a straightforward,
Yeah.
pop rock number.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so good. It's just like there's just so many. It's just so big. It's just like almost in your face. Like at some points, it kind of feels overwhelming, but at the same time, it still feels like palatable, something like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that song. Then I'm going to go to my number 9. I'm actually going to go take a song from this album, their second album,
Oh.
which, yeah. So even though
Okay.
I'm not huge into the early period,
Yeah.
I think from the first 3 albums, I would say this is by far my favorite of the first 3 albums. So I'm actually going to go with the second.
Yeah.
ELO 2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the second song, which is called Mama. And it's kind of this more slower, kind of melancholic song, which I that's what I enjoy, those types of more melancholic, but it's also kind of has some good melody to it. From what I gather, this song's basically about loss, like dealing with loss, just dealing with loss of a loved one. And in terms of this song, it could be a mother, it could be just somebody, but yeah, it's just a very underrated song, and there's not much to it. Again, it's nothing too complex about it, but it's just this nice, very chill, very, very pleasant sounding song. And yeah, I really enjoyed it quite a lot. Okay, so number 8, I'm going to go to this album, Face the Music, and I'm going to go with Evil Woman. By the way, Evil Woman was the song that was on that infomercial. That was the first ELO song I was aware of. But yeah, kind of like what Garrett pretty much already talked about it. So he put it in far better words than I could. But yeah, and this is one of those songs he wrote in a matter of minutes because they needed something. So, but yeah, it worked out in their favor. Again, really great intro especially with the piano intro, and then the chorus comes in. It's just this very catchy chorus, and just absolutely really enjoy this one. And I also like the female backing singers as well on the track as well. Just really adds to the song. So that's number 8. Okay, so you get to the first song from that I have on my list from this album, Out of the Blue, and I'm going to go with the first song, Turn to Stone. So Turn to Stone, really great opening track, really just a great way to open the album. Just kind of, I guess in some way, this is the I don't know what I was going to go with, but it just has this really great tone to it. There's just, again, like I said, there's just many layers to it. And one of my favorite parts of this whole song is like in the center of it, there's like a whole breakdown, and Jeff Lynne's just singing just rapidly fast on it. And it's just like, it's just this very quick motion, but then it goes back into it. It's just absolutely, I absolutely really love that. I mean, Eminem has nothing on that. But yeah, it's just really great opening track. And my number 6, again, also from this album, and this is kind of a deeper cut. So this is from side 3, the concerto. And this is, if it wasn't for the song I'm going to talk about later, this would probably be my favorite of that concerto. But I'm going to go with the one before it, with Summer and Lightning. Just this very beautiful, just this beautiful song. And again, it's supposed to, at this point, the concerto is supposed to feel like this warm summer rainstorm, and that just perfectly sums it up. Like if I'm in San Diego, so when in winter and sometimes in summer it rains a bit, and when it rains here, that's kind of the same feeling I get when it rains over here. So it just perfectly captures it, in my opinion. And then it has, but also it's not, even though like it's supposed to, like, when you think of rain, it's kind of more like melancholic, more sad, but here there's actually more optimistic sound to it, which is very refreshing. And I just love the sound of the acoustic guitar in the beginning, and it's kind of like a motif throughout. But yeah, and there's even a nice little interesting breakdown in the center of it, but then it goes back into it. So yeah, Summer and Lightning, what a great song that is. And that's my number 6, and that concludes my 10 through 6.
All right, good. All right, Adam, what's your 10 through 6?
Right, I'll get to it. My number 10 is from the album Time, and it's Twilight.
Twilight.
And there's a really amazing animated music video for that song. I recommend to watch that. It's on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My number 9 is from the Face of Music album, but it's not Evil Woman. It's Strange Magic.
Okay.
That's my favorite song from that album. And my number 8 is actually one of Jeff Lynne's solo songs, one of his solo albums.
Okay.
And it's from the Armchair Theatre album, and it's called Every Little Thing.
Okay.
It's a very underrated Jeff Lynne song, in my opinion. And my number 7 is one of their more bigger songs. It's from El Dorado, and that's Can't Get It Out of My Head.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
And my number 6 is another underrated one, and it's from the Xanadu soundtrack, and it's called Don't Walk Away. It's a really beautiful song, that one. So that's my 10 through 6.
Yeah, so Xanadu, it's on their albums, but it's also Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
Which I mostly know Olivia Newton-John had a hit song with Xanadu, I think.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know that album as well as the other ones. I don't think I listened to that one as quite as much.
I know All Over the World because that was on their greatest hits, but that's about the only one I know from that album.
So I have to admit, I don't know a lot about that album, even though it's on their discography. But yeah,
Apple Music apparently has it listed as one of their essential albums, and I don't get it.
It did well. I mean, it did, from what I did my research, it did pretty well as an album. So but so far I think we've gotten a lot of different songs so far. I think we've got a lot of variety, which is really cool. Just Caleb loves my Chiefs hat. Yep, Chiefs the Super Bowl tomorrow. Go Chiefs.
Got represent.
I don't know about Garrett and Bryer if they're into football at all. And
yeah, no, I'm not.
Not since the Cowboys lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll die in football, so no.
Hey, at least they made Brady retire.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah.
Then Adam's all in England, so I don't know if he has any connection. Of course,
football means something completely different to him.
Yeah,
yeah.
Different over there. You might have a favorite football team, but it's not NFL team. But yeah, yeah. So I go through my 10 through 6. Don't have a lot of to say, except All great songs. Number 10, I have Strange Magic, which Adam mentioned on his number 9 from Face the Music. It's my favorite song off that album. And this might have been a radio hit too. I feel like it felt somewhat similar when I was listening to it. Like I heard it before somewhere.
Maybe.
But yeah, great. I love more. It's more of a laid back song. I feel like compared to most of their songs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just real catchy. I just love the whole boom, 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 strange match. Yeah, I just absolutely love it.
You know what's interesting about Strange Magic?
But
The guitar intro was not played by Jeff Lynne. It was played by Richard Tandy because he said Richard Tandy, as a piano player, would be able to play it more gently than he could.
Yeah, it's a much more gentle song for sure.
And I think when they played it live, he played that like on the piano rather than having it as a guitar intro.
Okay.
Interesting.
But yeah, great song. Number 9, I have "Sweet as the Night," which comes off of the Out of the Blue album. Just a really nice song. Love the "Sweet, Sweet as the Night" chorus. My second favorite song off that album. My favorite song my favorite song Out of Blue. Maybe I don't know if this is a surprise, but it's from it's my number 8 song, and it's "Turn to Stone," which someone mentioned. Bryer mentioned it.
That was me.
Yeah, Bryer mentioned that, so I was glad he mentioned it because I really like that song off of Out of the Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be. I tell you it's my favorite song, so there's a song on there that's not in my top 10. That's a good song, but I really love Turn to Stone. He said opener, great opener to that album. Those are my 2 favorite songs off of that album, Out of the Blue. Then at number 7, I have "Do Ya," which is off of a New World Record. Super catchy song, as a lot of songs are on that record. And I don't know, something about that record. They hit these really good high notes and harmonize incredibly well, and very catchy. I love that song. Number 6, I have "The Buildings Have Eyes," which it's kind of confusing. From what I'm understanding, it was like originally supposed to be on Secret Message's album, but then it ended up being like a B-side to one of their singles off of that record. But then when they in like 2001, when they reissued it, they added it to the record. I think. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Jeff Lynne was intending it to be a double album, but then the record company said no, cut half of it and make a single album. And so he finally got to release it as his double album vision in the 2000s. Yeah,
that's what I read. So I count this as a song off of Secret Messages album, because on Spotify there's 17 songs on the album on Spotify.
So, I would definitely pick up a more recent copy of that album then. Yeah,
because I really love that song. That's my second favorite song off of that album. In fact, just super catchy song. I love the chorus of that one anyway. So yeah, that's my 10 through 6. So I have a couple that are the same as some other people, but we're definitely got some different songs, which was really cool. I'm guessing in our top 5, maybe we'll get some more of the big hits.
Probably, maybe.
Off of there anyway. So, but yeah, so I don't have any more of those. So we'll go to Garrett, to your number 5.
All right. Jason, did you know that "Sweet as the Night" is actually sung by the bass player Kelly Grouchik?
Oh, is it?
However you say it. Yeah, his more throaty, like that tone. Anytime you hear that tone of a voice, it's him singing.
Okay. I always assume it's Jeff Lynne, I guess, but
it's him and Jeff kind of alternating, but he sings most of it. I think Jeff sings the beginning, like the do 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 that part, and then he sings the like the pre-chorus, like the do 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 do, and then they harmonize on "Sweet, Sweet is the Night." Anyway, my number 5, and before I list my number 5, I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of an artist making a cover song, but that they're covering themselves?
Huh.
Have you ever heard of that?
Don't think so.
Covers like a re-recording album or something?
No, not a re-recording. Like they're literally making a cover of their own song, not just a re-recording.
I can't say I do.
Because that is what you need to know about our number 5 song. Jeff Lynne and Roy Wood were in a band before ELO called The Move.
Right.
And The Move
Right.
only had one song that was a minor hit called
Oh,
Do
really?
Ya.
Okay.
And so it really didn't, it was kind of a minor hit, was played kind of on radio, didn't really go very far. Anyway, in the 70s, another band started playing Do Ya at their concerts, and everybody started associating it with the cover version rather than with the Move version. So Jeff Lynne thinks, hey, they've stolen my song, so I'm going to have to do a cover of that song so that people know who really did it. And he ended up making the definitive version of the song on New World Record.
Do ya?
So Do Ya is technically
Okay.
the third version of the song, but it's definitely the definitive version.
It's the only one I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the original one.
Okay. Good.
But this song is amazing from the first few notes. This guitar riff that's bum, 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 and the slide guitar, bum, 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 and like the strings
Yeah.
come in, do 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 do, and then Jeff Lynne's just like wow, and he just like starts singing, like spouting off what seems like random words, something about like he's seen like babies dancing in the midnight sun, and like he's seen all these crazy things, but he's never seen nothing like her. And then like the chorus, do you want my love? This really crazy vocals, these high harmonies,
So high.
and like the harmonies just keep building on top of each other and getting higher and higher. And it's just a really good song. Probably one of the most rocking songs in the ELO catalog. I would say probably the most rocking song is probably Poker from Face the Music, but this might be the second most, with that really big guitar riff. But it's an amazing song, really catchy, and I like the breakdown in the middle with the strings. It's like I don't know all the lyrics offhand, but like that middle section, and then it just like all building up, and it just goes, and then it's just the guitar again. Yeah, somebody did the slide guitar. Anyway, it's just a really good song. Did you see that?
Yeah. I'll put the Sam comment. It says, "Do ya? Some great early versions with the Move are great too." He says, which is interesting. I didn't know much about that. I did read that him and Wood were like another band. Before they formed. It basically was him, Wood, and Bevan was the drummer, and they basically, I think, formed the group.
Right.
And then came along, as from what I understand, because I don't really know a lot about the members of the. Jeff Lynne's the only one I really know that much about, but because he's really the face of the band.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like no Jeff Lynne, no band.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, yeah, a lot of people are commenting now.
Yeah.
Because I got Pete from Platino Guy saying hi.
Hello.
And ELO is a cracking band. Jeff Lynne is one very talented guy.
Read that in his voice.
I need to put an English accent on.
ELO is a cracking band.
I
just love all those great British tunes with the orchestra.
That was Jeff Lynne.
Do ya? A new world record and Face the Music. Mr. Blue Sky, Out of the Blue. Concerto for a Rainy Day and a Tea and a Crumpet, yeah.
But that's cool. Pete's mostly for movies and video games, so that's cool. He's a fan as well. My sister's got to go. Go Chiefs, yes. And then Mike said hi to everybody.
Mike.
Hello.
Says, hope we're doing well.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess a fan as well. He says Mr. Blue Sky is his favorite. So
Let's talk about that shortly.
That's great. He's also a fan. And Sam wants Adam to do his American accent.
Maybe in a different video.
Oh.
Maybe when we talk about American.
When you got to put an accent, you got to mentally prepare,
How you do an American accent? I don't know. I just do it automatically. But
It
seems like you have to do a Southern accent when people try to do American.
Have you heard Paul McCartney do his American accent?
Oh yeah, I saw it when he. I know he tried to do it when he and Jimmy Fallon collaborated.
Oh really?
It's really funny.
And then Sam said the same thing Garrett said here. Dewey was a cover song. I didn't have no idea. That's interesting. And he mentions Telephone Line, Turn to Stone, Wild West Hero, his favorites. So yeah, definitely some great ones there.
Yeah.
All right, Bryer, you're number 5.
Okay, number 5, still on this album. So we're, and Mike already mentioned this one, but yeah, it's Mr. Blue Sky. It's my number 5.
Oh, you're number
So
5.
yes, so this is the conclusion to the whole concerto, and it's a great way to close out because now the sun's out, the rain's over, and now everything's all happy now. And you know, it is scientifically proven that Mr. Blue Sky is the most happiest song ever written, and I do not doubt that. I think that's very valid. But yeah, you just listen to it and you just can't help but feel good inside. Even if you're having the worst day possible, I can just put this song on and like, you know, maybe it's not so bad. Yeah, it's just absolutely great song. It's just so catchy, a lot of great melodies throughout. And another big highlight of the song is towards the end where it just completely shifts to this different piece. It's just like I guess the I forgot the word for it. I forgot the exact word, but you know, it's the conclusion of it. But
Coda.
Yeah, coda. There you go. Thank you.
Coda.
But yeah, just perfect way to close it out. And then you have the whole like, please flip me over thing on it, which is kind of which is very interesting. Of course, when you have a CD, you can't really do that, but still cool that they keep it in. But yeah, not much else to say about it. But yeah, Mr.
It would
Blue
be
Sky's
funny
my
on
number
CD
5.
copies if they had like something that it could read, and if you actually flip it over and put the other side in, then it says in a vocoder, "Thank you."
That'd be good. Maybe they do one for a cassette, like they do it like a cassette version of it.
I think on the cassette that it was either on the cassette or the 8-track that Mr. Blue Sky is the last song on the album.
Interesting.
And they're kind of an interesting percussion on that song. Like, it sounds like metal or something.
Yeah, when I see live versions of it, they just use a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, that's what they did. They were just hitting a fire extinguisher.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's kind of interesting. There's like this metal sound, and yeah, I think of Groot dancing. That's what I think of when I.
Yep, that's one way.
Yeah. All right, Adam, what's your number 5?
Right, my number 5 is I think one that someone mentioned earlier, and that's Living Thing.
Living Thing.
Yeah. Just get my information on it. So it's from a New World record, which came out in 1976. And it's one of the ELO's more fun and catchier songs, I would say. It's got amazing harmonies and great backing vocals, which you find in a lot of ELO's music. It's got a nice string arrangement as well. It's got one of ELO's best choruses, in my opinion. And the song definitely puts a really good mood. It's one I love to listen to a lot. One of my first ELO songs I knew.
Oh, yeah, great pick.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Garrett mentioned that maybe, or
Which one?
Living Thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's the second time mentioned. My number 5 is off of a Balance of Power album, which no one's really mentioned yet, but it's called Heaven Only Knows, which is my favorite song off of that album. And as I was going through the discography of them and getting to this is like their last album before they broke up, basically in '86. And I'd say it's a little bit different sounding from their other music. I feel like there's not really a lot of orchestra here. But it's a really great rock song. I love the guitar in the song, and it's got a really good beat to it and really good like fast pace to it. And I just love and when I was going through here, when I go through all the albums, I list like my favorite songs from each album, and I put it in a playlist on Spotify. And so I'm listening to the songs, over and over, kind of getting familiar with them. Like, okay, which ones are my favorite? And yeah, this one is one that I couldn't stop listening to. It's just so catchy and so fun to listen to. And I think it's just that it has this constant beat throughout the song. And I don't know if it's a drum beat or something. It's just bump, 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 bump. Just like, and I just love it. It's just a great sound that really plays well throughout the song. And there's something really cool about when they go from the verses and they are coming up to the chorus, and I swear the song like speeds up in the chorus. There's something really cool about that. I just absolutely love when it switches from verse, and all of a sudden, heaven only knows, bum 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 bum, heaven only knows. Like, I just love that fast beat to it. Heaven only knows, and it's just like, man, you're listening, you're just like, man, I'm just like really into this rock song, and it's so catchy. It's in my head after it's over. I'm singing it along with it. Yeah, to me, one of my favorite, number 5 on my list, of course. So. I don't know if that's an underrated song or if that's a song anybody else talks about, but I don't know if it's a hidden gem. It's one I didn't know about until I was listening to the album, but I think it's an absolutely great one.
I've not heard that one before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not as familiar with the 80s stuff, so I'm definitely gonna check out the 80s catalog, because I'm very familiar with the 70s. But yeah, I think the 80s stuff should have some very underrated, some hidden gems in there.
And I feel like the 80s stuff sounds a little bit different. Maybe that's just because 80s stuff just sounds like 70s stuff. Yeah. Just because the way music changes over time. Mm-hmm. Still great, but just a little bit different. Like I said, just good. And there's really good guitar work on this song as well. I didn't say great guitar solo and everything on here, but I think that one's definitely worth a listen. There's a couple of really good ones off of Bounce of Power, I think. I don't know if that's considered one of their great ones, but I thought it was decent. Album. The pizza "Don't Let Me Down" is a cracker. Oh, the song "Don't Let Me Down" is a cracker. I'm not sure if he said it that way, but that's the way I'm saying it. There's a recent ELO song I like called "When I Was a Boy." That was very good. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great one, that one.
Okay, I don't remember that one, but there's just so much music. I just now started listening to him. But yeah, so now we're down to number 4, Garrett.
Number 4, we've got the second song on this album, Telephone Line. Telephone Line is an amazing song, really great, just kind of 70s pop that starts out with a telephone solo. You just kind of hear somebody dialing on a telephone, and then you hear like the lots of synth on this one.
Yeah.
And then like when he starts singing, it sounds like he's on the other end of a telephone.
Yeah,
singing on the telephone.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I really like his vocal effects there.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the chorus, then it gets to just normal sounding vocals, but then you get like all these great harmonies, and it sounds like a 50s doo-wop song, like doo-wop, dooby doo doo-wop.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not the
Yeah. And that's just like the pre-chorus, this shooby doo bop part. There's like a very unconventional song structure to this song. There's like the verse, and then there's like this pre-chorus, this shooby doo doo wop, doo-wah doo-rang, and then there's a second pre-chorus where Jeff Lynne comes in and sings, and there's call and response between him and the other people, and then we get to the chorus, the "Oh, telephone line, give me some time," which I forget what band it was. I think it was Green Day with like 21 Guns or whatever that song is called. Totally ripped this song off.
You're right. That does have a similar sound. Yeah.
But like the catchy chorus, the song lyrically is just talking about a guy who's trying to call his girlfriend, kind of like Operator by Jim Croce.
Right.
And just kind of trying to sort things out, but he's not getting anything on the other line, and it's just like kind of basically just talking to the telephone operator or whatever. But it's a very, very 70s song. I really like it.
Yeah. We don't talk about telephone lines today as much, do we?
Yeah. No, not really.
The cell phone.
Yeah.
Hey, cell phone Wi-Fi. I don't know.
It's not got the same ring to it.
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi is down.
That's my theme song right here.
Give me it. Yeah. Oh man, that's such a great pick. What's your number 4, Bryer?
All right, number 4. Okay, we're going back to this one, and we're going to talk about "Shine of the Love." Shine of the Love. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I think Garrett's already brought this
Yeah.
up already, so I won't go too. I'm not going to say too much on this one, but yeah, it's just this great. Again, they really did a great job of like just going into the disco scene like almost pretty much seamlessly because they already had the strings and has a lot of strings in them, so it makes sense that they would try to take a stab at a disco song, and they do a fantastic job. I mean, it's absolutely catchy. It's just so funky and groovy. That bass line is fantastic, and I mean, as a bass player, that's always the big highlight whenever I hear like these like dance oriented songs. But yeah, absolutely great, and some great vocals on that track as well. But Garrett summed it up perfectly. But yeah, that's my number 4, Shine a Little Love.
All right.
My number 4 it's the same one that Garrett had. I've got Telephone Line at number 4.
Fine. All right.
Yeah.
And I love how much that there's just a lot going on in that song that I absolutely love. There's a lot going on in terms of the instruments used, and I love the telephone ringing as well. I can't really think of many of the songs that really have that in them.
They have that.
And I can't think of any others.
I know it's pretty unique.
Yeah, and it's got one of ELO's best melodies and some of Jacqueline's best vocals here. In my opinion, especially with the high notes. And I think it's a beautiful song, mainly with the melody and also the lyrics as well. It's a perfect pop ballad, and I can imagine hearing this song in concert with everyone's getting their phones out and shining the torch on it.
Yeah.
I can imagine that in the concert. The Telephone Line's my number 4.
All right. Second one for Telephone Line. Really good song.
Yeah, it is.
Might come up again. All right. Number 4 for me is Stranger from, now I keep forgetting, from Secret Messages. I believe it's my favorite song off of that album. And I'm going to repeat myself probably on a lot of stuff. I just absolutely love the choruses on a lot of these songs. That's where I'm listening to them, and when you get to the chorus, of course, the chorus is like kind of the hook of the song a lot of times.
Yeah.
That like it's usually like, oh, it's kind of nice melody, love the verses, but then the chorus is when it really hits you, and it's like, oh man, like I can't get the chorus out of my head. And this is another one where this is so high because I love when it gets to that chorus and it's like, through the eyes of a stranger, looking through the eyes, da 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 da. Like I just love the way they did that, where one is it's like two, I don't know, Jeff Lynne or somebody singing this part and then somebody singing this other part, and it's going like right next to each other, and it's like this very fast bum 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 bum, and then the other one bum 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 da 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 da. Oh, it sounds so great, so catchy. It's like after you listen to that one, I'm just like can't get out of my head kind of song for me. So that's why I got here at number 4. Stranger.
Get it out of my head.
Yeah.
That one's another one. Yeah. That's like the only song I like off that album, to be honest. El Dorado, I think. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was going through the albums, like the first 3, I was like, I don't like any of this stuff. And then like the 4th, I think, or whatever, El Dorado, I was like, okay, that song's pretty good. And then Face the Music, it was like, okay, this is getting a lot better. But and then everything's really good after that. But yeah. So yeah, number 4, Stranger for me. So we'll get to number 3 for you, Garrett.
All right, my number 3 is "Don't Bring Me Down," a very polarizing song in their discography. You either love this one or you hate it. I tend to love this song because of good memories associated with it. Turning that song up on that ELO Greatest Hits CD and everybody singing at the top of their lungs, "Don't bring me down," and like way higher than they need to be singing.
Yeah. It's kind of a memorable part for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Bryer mentioned earlier that this song's drums were taken from another song. This song was written in a very similar fashion to Evil Woman. Jeff Lynne needed one more song to put on the album, and he didn't even tell the other band members that he was going to be making another song. And he just took a quick tape loop of the song, the drums in the song, On the Run from Discovery, which
Mhm.
on the Run kind of goes,
There we go.
whatever I do, wherever I go. It's got that, and underneath it's got these drums. Whatever I do, whatever I run with the behind it. Oh, I didn't mean to drum my album off the table.
If it breaks, you definitely need a whole new record.
Yeah.
Hey, guys,
I was
I'm
waiting.
holding a new world record.
I was waiting for a joke then.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of one. I couldn't think of one.
You get a point, Bryer.
I hold the new world record.
Very good. Yeah.
Anyway, he took those drums that like go like with the boom, 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 boom. That's kind of what it sounds like in the background. But he took those drums and he slowed them down and added some reverb to them, so it sounded like. And then he had this riff on top, wow, wow. And apparently he said that he played like, I don't know how many piano parts on this song. Like he like layered. It was at least 10 different piano tracks on this song. Underneath that, and you got the great vocals on this song, just really catchy. So everything on this album, oh, not the album, this song, Don't Bring Me Down, other than the drums, are played by Jeff Lynne, or sung by Jeff Lynne. So he's singing all the harmonies. He's playing piano, guitar, and bass. And that's why there's no strings on this song, is because it was quickly written in just a few minutes to get something on the record so that he thought it could sell better. And the other guys didn't even know that he had recorded it. And when they listened to the album, they're like, what is this? Don't Bring Me Down. They got really mad at him that they recorded a song without them. And we're like, oh, we could have put some strings on that. And like, we're upset that they didn't get to play. But anyway, it's still a great song. I love the catchy chorus, how it just kind of cuts out and goes, don't bring me down. And apparently the word that he's saying is Bruce.
Yeah.
With a G.
Yeah.
And that people thought he was saying Bruce so much that he actually sings it Bruce now, because people mistake. He's like, Bruce is just a word I made up. And people sing it, they sing Bruce, so I'm just going to start singing Bruce.
I mean, I don't know what Bruce is, but
so
it's
apparently, it's supposed to be a made-up word, but later on, he would some German, I guess German publisher or somebody from Germany said that actually means greetings, and he didn't know about it, so he's like, yeah, that kind of actually fits.
Yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, so Bring Me Down, it's kind of a spacey theme. So, and also I know a lot of the astronauts play the song a lot when they say "Don't bring me down," so they come down to Earth and they're like, "Welcome back, greetings," and something like that. So I was like, "Yeah, that actually worked out for him."
The last thing I'm going to say about this song is that you need to hear this song on the record. I'm sorry, but I like this song, and then I played it on the record, and when it's booming through your speakers on the record, it's even better. It's like the drums just are like crashing through your room, and the guitar just cuts in real loud, and it's just like, this sounds really good. But that's my number 3.
Yeah. When I listened to that song as a kid, like, I always thought it was kind of a strange song. I didn't quite know what it was about, except that I thought they were saying, "Don't bring me down, Bruce." I'm like, okay, the song's about Bruce, and who's Bruce, and who he's bringing someone down. I don't know, like, Bruce isn't a good guy. I don't know. Like, that's what I'm always thinking. So I totally got the song wrong, evidently. It's not bad.
I think it's a diss track to his girlfriend, or his now ex-girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah, and I mentioned that song as I think, to me, it's like the most played song on the radio from ELO that I can remember. This is just me. This is just my memory as a kid. I remember hearing the song on the radio quite a bit. I didn't know it was ELO. I just knew, there's this one song. Don't bring me down. Anyways, I mentioned that on my YouTube, whatever. And somebody, I'm forgetting his name now. It's like something, I forget, Fog or something. What was it? But he said, I hate that song. He's like, I like ELO, but I absolutely hate Don't Bring Me Down. I was like, I didn't realize it was so polarizing. Like, I thought that was kind of interesting because I was like, I like the song, but yet I can kind of understand how it
You know what makes me mad?
could get
Is there
annoying.
are people who are on these ELO comments who are like, ELO's first 3 albums are prog goodness, and anything that came after On the Third Day is terrible commercial trash. There's
Really?
actually lots of people who
Yeah.
think like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not putting down anybody if you think that, but like,
Yeah.
why
No,
don't
that's
you like their later stuff too?
yeah, and that's fine if you don't like don't bring me down. I just thought it was kind of funny that he was like, I hate that song. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, and I can kind of get that it could be an annoying song. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of understand if someone doesn't like that song. It's not my favorite, but I enjoy that song. But I just thought, yeah, I don't know if there's more people like that. They're like, I hate that song, and I'll be like, oh, okay. It was
sure
a
there are.
hit or something, and I think
Yeah.
there's like claps in the song. Sounds like hand claps or something like that in that song.
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I think that's just the reverb from the drums that they
Oh,
added.
okay. I always thought
Yeah,
it sounded like they're
could be.
just, and I was
Or
like,
they
anyway.
could be doing that near the end. I'd have to listen to it again.
Yeah, I have to listen to it again, but yeah. Anyway, so all right, what's your number 3, Bryer?
All right, so ironically, my third favorite song is the third track off this album, and that, of course, is Sweet Talking Woman.
Wouldn't it have been funny if his third favorite song was the third track from On the Third Day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
funny. Sadly, I'm not that huge into that album. So, but anyhow, so Sweet Talking Woman, I think one of us has already talked about this one. I forgot who it was, but yeah, I always enjoy that song. Just another very catchy, always enjoy the chorus of it, like, and also like the harmony in it as well. This is kind of where from what I've heard, like I don't hear it that much, but you can definitely hear a little bit of the disco influence starting to creep up a little bit. It's not in your face, but it's in terms of like the rhythm, like rhythmically, it kind of bars a little bit from that. But yeah, it's just a very great, very upbeat, very catchy song. Just about Jeff trying to find this woman, but he just can't find her. So, but yeah, it's a great one, and I enjoy very much. So that's my number 3.
Okay, cool. Off of Out of the Blue.
Yes, Out of the Blue.
So you got quite a bit of songs off of there, I think, so far.
Yeah, it's the last one. So next 2 are from different albums.
So I get a feeling you're a fan of that album. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, that's a pretty good guess. Pretty good guess.
All right, Adam, what's your number 3?
Well, I'll just continue the discussion. My number 3 is Sweet Talker Woman.
Oh,
as
really?
well. Yeah. This song is very catchy, and also it has a great energy to it as well. And it's probably my favorite ELO back in vocals. I'll probably hear as well. So I think that they're doing really well, and it's got nice operatic backing vocals as well. And there's this thing called the voc. I think it's called the vocoder.
Yeah.
It changes your voice a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that use of it in this song. It's got awesome instrumentation, especially with the strings, and it's just a classic ELO song in my opinion.
Gosh, I need to go back to that song because I don't remember it.
It's really good.
On that album.
Pretty good. I there's so many songs I forget some of them. I have to go back and listen again.
Just play Out of the Blue again, and you'll hear that
Right.
and a bunch of other really good ones.
And Joe's one says, "Great to see Adam,"
Thank you.
and I'm sure all of us too, but especially Adam maybe. Yeah, A Whole New Record's the only one I'm real familiar with because I've listened to that so many times. The other ones I've only listened to a couple of times maybe.
Yeah.
So I definitely I have to listen to more, but yeah. So my number 3 has been mentioned twice, I believe, so far, and that is Living Thing, coming off of A Whole New Record. And I believe Garrett and Adam maybe mentioned it, if I remember right. And yeah, I absolutely love this the song off of here. I love it. I love the orchestra. I think is what I love most about it. I think Garrett mentioned like there's like when they get into like the chorus, it's like this dun 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 dun. It's like this constant like back and forth beat.
Yeah.
It sounds like on violins or something, or and then the violins go da 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 like in it too. And I was like, I love the violins on this song. But yeah, I love when they get to that chorus and the dun dun dun. It's a living thing, dun dun dun. And yeah, great harmonies and great high notes, like we've said before. But yeah, like you guys mentioned, yeah, just absolutely love that song. So catchy. There's a lot of songs here on a whole new record. Love the combination, of course, like the orchestra and the rock music combining. I feel like that's the one where it's like, yeah, they always do like in between like the verse and the chorus, they always do like a bum bum, and then they go into the chorus. I love that transition of just and it does that throughout the song a lot of times. Even at the beginning, it's like once you get into the song, it's like all of a sudden they just go bum bum, and then go right into it. And I was like, oh, I absolutely love that. Gets you kind of ready because I'm like, all right, here it comes, because I hear the bump bump part, and all right, let's get into the chorus. But yeah, great song, number 3 on my list. All right, we're getting down to now number 2. It's for you, Garrett.
All right, my number 2 is "Turn to Stone" from Out of the Blue.
All right, so that's one I have.
When I was younger, I used to make mixtape CDs, and the first one that I made, which was kind of the biggest, and I think it was like one of the, I didn't make very many, but this one had 2 or maybe 3 ELO songs on it. I know it had "Mr. Blue Sky" as the last song to kind of be the big dramatic closer, but "Turn to Stone" was like right in the middle of the CD,
Okay.
and so I listened to it a lot on that. But and you listen to it on Out of the Blue, which is how I listen to it nowadays, and you play it especially on that record. It sounds like a spaceship is taking off in your room.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then like the triplet feel comes in, kind of fades in,
Yeah.
and like the strings are really good on this song, and kind of they have a lot of call and response. Now that I'm really deeply thinking
Yeah.
about these songs, I was like, Jeff Lynne will sing, and then like you get the background vocals, like Jeff Lynne sings, "The city streets are empty now," and then you get the background vocals, "The lights don't shine no more until the sun's out way down low," and then the kind of turning, and like the lower guy's like turning, and
Yeah.
it's just like that meshes really well together, these harmonies that they've created for this song. And my favorite part of harmonies is in the middle, where they kind of have this flanging effect on their vocals, and they're just rapidly singing like, "Well, you're turning to stone, and they ain't coming home but the sound of the song, and you're
Yeah.
going so long, and
Yep.
Bryers talking about.
I'm turning to
Yeah.
stone." And there's like 3 people
Yeah.
singing 3 different parts,
Yeah.
just rapidly singing that with this vocal effect on them. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And you get the catchy chorus, "I turned to stone when you were gone. I turned to stone." And then the guitar, bow, 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 ba-da-da-dum. And then you get back into that. And then at the very end, it sounds like the spaceship is taking off again. It's like the you get like sounds like that, and like listening to it on my record like kind of like makes my speakers shake, and it feels like the whole room is shaking, and like the spaceship is actually taking off. And like at the very, it's like the strings are building up to something, sort of kind of like what they do at the end of A Day in the Life. Not exactly as dramatic or as wacky as that, but they're at least like just like raising in pitch until they finally reach a major chord at the end, and it kind of resolves to boom, 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 and that kind of fades out. I just think that's really cool. This has always been one of my favorite ELO songs.
Nice.
Glad to hear that, because I didn't know if I was the only one that just really loves that song. I guess
Oh,
Bryers.
no, it's amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had it.
Yeah, I really like that song.
Yeah, that's a good one. It was on there.
All right, number
right.
2, Bryer.
Number 2, okay, finally taking a break from Out of the Blue. So now we're going back to Face the Music. I'm going to go with Strange Magic.
All right, Strange Magic. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think one of us has mentioned this already, but yeah.
Both me and Adam.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, just an absolutely really beautiful, really gorgeous number. With the title with Strange Magic, like musically, definitely has like a magical quality to it to me. Of course, it's from what I've read about, it's supposed to be about this like this woman that he's captivated about. It's like this person's like has the spell on him, and
Yeah.
and again, musically it perfectly has that feeling to it. And again, it comes down to how the guitar is played, which we brought up, and also the piano, and it's just this very chill, almost trippy,
Yeah.
not trippy hippie, but just this. It kind of has the really great atmosphere that just kind of just takes you on this little journey and such like that. And one more thing I'll mention about the chorus is I really love how you can hear the strings like just going up and then it comes back down. It kind of goes back and forth if you listen carefully. Just very cool. So yeah, I love the song. It's my number 2.
Right, great. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your number 2, Adam?
Well, that's enough break of out the blue. Then we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to out the blue now. Back to out the blue with Mr. Blue Sky.
That's
Right.
That's my favorite. It's an anthemic masterpiece in my opinion. There's so much amazing stuff in this song, such as the vocoder used in this, and the operatic vocals at times, and the use of a fire extinguisher. and I never thought that would be used well in a song, and it's used really well here. But it's got some of ELO's best drumming in this song, in my opinion, and it's done by Bevan, I believe.
Yeah, Bevan. Yeah.
I love that the song starts fast and ends slow, especially with that coda at the end of the song, and it definitely makes it to have an epic and a beautiful conclusion to the end of the song. And yeah, it's one of my favorite ELO songs, and it's in my top 100 songs of all time as well.
Yeah.
Classic one.
Yeah. 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 I don't have it on my top 10, and I knew I was probably going to be the odd one not to have it in there. Though it's a good song, it's just not as catchy as some of the other songs I really, really like. But anyways, yeah, I understand anybody has that pretty high on their list. My number 2 is a song I don't think anybody's mentioned yet, and it is Tightrope, which is the first song that opens up a whole new record. And man, it's so awesome when you go into a whole new record, and this is like the first song, and it starts off as this. Best way I explain it anytime I talk about it, it's like it feels like I'm listening to Phantom of the Opera. It's just this very dramatic music, boom, 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 and the violins, da 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 da, and you're like, what am I listening to? Is this like, am I listening to an opera? Like, it's so amazing, and you get this like choir, whoa, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like the most dramatic thing. It's like, it just really throws you because I've never heard that on an album before. To start the album, you're like, I'm like, am I listening to the right album? Like, did I accidentally put in some operatic album? Like, this is supposed to be a rock album, but it's so interesting and so different. And then like and it kind of ends this. So it's this whole intro part. It's just the coolest intro, and it ends with like I want to say like the violins are like going da 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 da, and as they're doing that, the drums all of a sudden start fading in, and you get the da 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 da, and then all of a sudden the guitar comes in, and you're like, oh, now we got a rock song, and it's like, and the guitar is so awesome. Like I love when the guitar comes in with that drumming all the way to the guitar, and it just starts it off in such a great way. And I was listening to it today, in fact, and I was counting. It's like a minute 35 into the song before you hear Jeff Lynne's voice for the first time. So it's a minute and 35 of just instrumental stuff, which is crazy, but it's awesome. Like I absolutely loved it.
Try Shine On You Crazy Diamond by Pink Floyd. 8 minutes of instrumentals before you hear vocals.
Wow.
Yeah, I get that. Pink Floyd's pretty good at that. Yeah, Pink Floyd's pretty good at intros as well.
Yeah.
Doing stuff, but yeah, I just absolutely love how that starts there, and love Jeff Lynne's vocals are just amazing, and all the backing vocals and everything. Just absolutely love it throughout the song, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just absolutely amazing, unique song I've never heard anybody else do before, and just such a great way to start that album, which I said is like my favorite album of theirs. and it just gets better after the. I'm not better, but I mean, it just continues to get great throughout that album, and has a lot of interesting things like that throughout. That just really gives you what do you expect out of this album? This song really goes, okay, this is what to expect. Just craziness of you don't know what to expect. Anyways, but yeah. I don't know what more to say about that, but yeah, I love the song Tightrope, number 2 on my list.
All right.
Now we're going to go to our number 1.
All right, I know what
Time
Garrett's
for the big one.
choosing.
Numero uno.
Yes, he knows.
Yeah.
I've talked about it a lot. Okay, you caught me. All right. You can call me a cheater or whatever, because my number 1 song is technically 4 songs, but I can't talk about them separately. I have to talk about them together because they make up some of the greatest music you'll ever hear. My number 1 is the entirety of side 3, Concerto for a Rainy Day from Out of the Blue. And I'm going to have to pull out the lyrics so that I can talk about it.
If I get the...
There we go.
Okay, yeah.
I'll just get my booklet out.
I got my inner sleeve, which, because I got these anti-static sleeves, I'm actually able to pull this out, and I don't have to have the record as well. Anyway, what is
I was
it?
very tempted this to be my number 1. I was very tempted to go with that as well.
Yeah. The first song on here is called "Standing in the Rain," and the first thing you hear is just kind of these boom, 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 and you hear just like this rain in the background, and then the strings come in just like boom with a major sounding chord, and then they hit a minor sounding chord boom, and you hear lightning. And the piano goes dun 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 dun, and then lightning strikes, and the lightning using the vocoder says "Concerto for a Rainy Day," and I'm like, whoa, that's so cool how they did that. And it builds up, and it's like boom, boom, and then the strings come in, boom, 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 which spells ELO in Morse code. I saw some on that. Those strings, the rhythm that they're playing spells ELO at the beginning. And then you get all this crazy orchestra intro with the rain, and then you finally get Jeff Lynne coming in. It's just him and the synth. Like the synth goes do 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 do, and he goes like, "I'm standing in the rain." And this whole concerto you think is about just how rain affects your mood. But there was one time I was reading along to the lyrics to this. It's got a double meaning. A, it's about wanting to get out of the rain because the rain is making him feel bad. But he's comparing rain to a bad relationship, because it sounds like a husband has like had an argument with his wife or something and left, and then it started to rain. And through the course of this concerto, he's starting to rethink what he did, and he wants to go home and make everything happy again.
Yeah.
Like it was this particular. That's why I got these lyrics out. Standing in the rain.
Well, I know nothing about arguing with your wife, I guess.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm kidding.
Where was it? I think the line was in Big Wheels, but it's the good intentions and the pain lay drowned now in the pouring rain. Oh, here's the line. I tried to be so good this time, but here I am under the sky. So that just kind of like, what's going on here? And then I read further on in Big Wheels, and I'm like, oh, he had like some kind of argument with his wife or something, and his relationship has gone bad, and now he's like, he had to leave, and it's like taking a walk in the rain. But then you get to the second song, Big Wheels, which I'd like to say this introduces a theme that goes throughout the album, but this theme was actually introduced as the intro to the song It's Over. It goes like kind of like do 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 do, and that theme is used several times throughout this album. But this is the first time it comes in, and then you get Big Wheels, which is a slower song. This is just a really dramatic song. Jeff Lynne, this is kind of where the big wheels are turning in his brain, kind of thinking about what's going on. He's sad about the rain. I've been thinking it over so many times. They say you got it made. They never understand the answer lies within your soul. Because no one knows which side the coin will fall. The big wheels turn. Big wheels turning. Baby, I know. This, where is it? Save it for a rainy day when the cold wind blows just to see how they run. I thought they'd know. I tried my best, all I could do, but somehow it was not enough for you. Big wheels turning. And so, then, as the big wheels are turning, you get to this chorus where it builds up, just like boom, 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 and like this really big. I remember the dead of night, a lonely light that shines upon the window. I see it all so clear, the tenderness, the silent tears, out here in the pouring rain, through cold, dark, waiting days. I see you standing there. I see the big wheels turning, never ending. On and on they go. I think I'm going home. I think I'm going to have to start again. It's rather sad, because I've looked around, can't seem to find whatever's always rolling through my mind. So at this point, he's realizing what he's done, and he's upset about the rain, and the weather changes kind of as a result of his mood change from a sad rain to a happy rain. Like, sometimes whenever it's summer and it's so hot outside and you finally get rain, it's like, thank goodness it's now not burning outside. So it's like the rain changes from bad rain now to good rain, because the song's called Summer and Lightning.
Yeah.
So the weather is, just because his mood changed, it's like the weather has changed as well. It starts off with this cool acoustic guitar, and you get the thunder. It's just a really catchy song. Bryer mentioned it earlier. I like the chorus on here. Summer and lightning, it's all around me. So his mood has changed. The summer and lightning, just the rain is happy, and then you get some kind of quiet thunder at the end, and then you hear a weather, or not a weather, like a radio dial in the background, kind of going like, and it tunes into the weather, and it goes like, "Good morning. Today's forecast calls for blue skies." And I'm gonna go and put this back in the album now, because I know the last song by heart. If I was not allowed to do the entire concerto for a rainy day, it would just be this one song as my absolute favorite, Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah, I figured that'd be the one.
This is the part of the song where everything is happy again. I guess if we're going by the relationship thing, like, I don't know, that might just be something that I found in the lyrics, but I think it kind of fits. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think afterward. But he's come back and everything is good. It's like the sun has come out and everything's happy again. This is very much the happiest song ever. Starting off from that, boom, 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 and the drums, boom, 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 boom. And Jeff Lynne said that he kind of took the intro to this song from A Day in the Life. Whenever the middle section that goes boom, 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 woke up, fell out of bed, dragged a comb across my head, and he directly references A Day in the Life in this song, because there's like, I went way downstairs and had a cup, and looking up, I noticed I was late. He directly references that. Looking down the avenue. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And you get into this, like, the vocal harmonies kind of build on top of each other. The first one goes like, Mr. Blue Sky, and the next one goes, please tell us why. And then he comes in, you had to hide away for so long. And then the other one comes like, so long. And then, where did we go wrong? It's like all this layered vocals. And you get this really great guitar solo in the middle. Really cool. And then you get another solo that's like a vocoder solo, which is like it's basically a talking piano.
Yeah.
Like hook your piano up to this vocoder and then hook the vocoder up to a microphone, and you speak into the microphone and it'll say like whatever you play. So like if you say like Mr. Blue Sky, like while you're playing the notes like Mr. Blue Sky, it'll go Mr. Blue Sky. And so they do that for this second solo. And then you get this really dramatic part that goes like, Mr. Blue, you did it right. And soon comes Mr. Night creeping over. Now his hand is on your shoulder. Never mind. I remember you this. I remember you this way, and then it goes back into the Mr. Blue Sky part. Like that part before is just really dramatic there, and like you can hear the choir creeping in at that part, and then right after there's like a choir outro where they're like doing all this really fancy stuff in the choir, and then they like hit the boom boom boom, and then the coda is kind of like the conclusion of the Concerto for a Rainy Day, where it's just like bum 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 boom boom bum 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 boom boom boom, and then one more time you get that theme, that bo doo doo bo doo doo bo doo 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 boom, and then it's like boom 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 boom, and then you get the boom, and the vocoder goes, "Please turn me over." And it's like, wow, this was a really cool side of this record.
Yeah.
And I had to talk about the whole thing because, like, I don't know, I couldn't have just done Mr. Blue Sky without going through all the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
One
Totally
of the
understand.
best sides. It's one of the best sides of music.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
very comparable to Abbey Road Side 2.
I was gonna say, is your favorite song in Abbey Road's the medley?
Yeah, yes.
That would be my favorite. If I
No,
could
I know
count one,
Adam, he kind of cheats. He picks like 3 songs as number one.
I'll just include the whole album.
Well,
The whole album's my favorite song.
I'll be more fair and I'll just say my favorite is Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight the End, which that's more fair at least.
That's what
Yeah.
Adam says. Yeah.
Yeah.
He mixes those 3 kind of as one, but yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
Something is definitely number 2 though.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
All right, Bryer, number 1.
All right. My number 1. Okay, so the thing is, I've talked about this particular song before on my channel, back when I did my top 100 favorite songs series. So if you know that one, if you remember, then you might know. Yeah, so it's off this album, and it's gonna be "Can't Get It Out of My Head."
Can't get out of my head. Oh, okay.
Yes.
El Dorado.
Yes, El Dorado. I mean, El Dorado is not my all-time favorite ELO album, but I just need to listen to it more because I can definitely hear why people will say it's one of their best. It hasn't fully clicked with me yet, but a few more listens, maybe I'll get it. But my favorite song on here and my favorite ELO song in general is "Can't Get Out of My Head." So a little fun fact, this was actually their first top 10 hit here in the US, but actually it actually didn't do that well in the UK, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. But it's just this very gorgeous, kind of more ballad type. It's kind of similar to Strange Magic, where it's kind of very similar, but it has a much different feel to it. Like this song is basically about this. Well, the whole album is like a concept album about this person going through this imaginary land or something. But at this part of the concept, it's just this person just kind of just daydreaming about better things. So he's kind of just daydreaming basically about all this good stuff out there that he can't really access to, and there's just, you can hear that sort of this longing in there. That's just, again, this just the way they arrange the strings and how it's just accompanied by the steady beats is just absolutely really well put together, and just the melody behind it is so catchy. It's just the melody you just can't get out of your head. So
Yeah,
which I made a joke for, but yeah, just a great vocal line.
Out of your head.
Yeah,
So
just yes, very good, awesome song. So that's my number 1 ELO song.
I like to imagine that the concept of that album is. Have you ever read the short story "The Secret Life of Walter Mitty"?
No.
Or seen the movie with Ben Stiller?
Yeah, I've seen the movie. Yeah.
It's about a guy who, like, whenever he has these really crazy daydreams.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like to imagine that the album is kind of like that, about a guy who like has a really dull, boring life, and like that's kind of his daydreams.
Yeah, and it kind of will explain the red shoes on the cover.
You have the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
which is interesting for a cover. Which is Kansas.
Yeah, there you go.
Dorothy from Kansas. I like Time, I think, is like a whole space theme, right? Am I right?
Time is an album about a man who is somehow sent forward in the future to the year 2095, I think,
Okay.
and is trying to get back and is expressing how he doesn't like the future because it's all robotical and that's people
Okay.
aren't allowed to be human. I think he makes it back at the end, but the ending of the album is kind of open ended as to what happens.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just thought it was interesting that it was all space themed. I thought an interesting concept, but yeah. All right, so that was interesting. I wasn't expecting that, Bryer. I forgot that you had that in your top 100
Yeah.
songs, all that. But yeah, so we get to your number one, Adam.
Yeah, and I've got a hint for
Got
it.
prop.
Yeah,
Or
I've got a prop.
Trudy. Does Trudy
There we go.
have-
Now we all have hats on now.
Wild West Hero?
I was gonna say,
Yeah, it's Wild West Hero.
okay.
There we go.
Number one.
Out of the blue.
Yes.
Hang on. Let's get the tap
there you
on
go.
There we go. I'm ready to talk about it now. This is, you can take it up in a minute then. I'm all right for now.
We all got hats now. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a very underrated song in my opinion.
Yeah.
Underrated, as I should say. Yeah, it's just incredible at the end of this, the Out the Blue album with the song. It's got phenomenal melody and chorus, and it's got amazing instrumentation all around it, and just a perfect song all around. And in my opinion, it's got Jeff Lynne's best vocals here. And I love the lyrics and the meaning of the song about wanting to be a cowboy in the Wild West. It's got awesome guitar work as well, especially in the bridge part of the song. It sort of becomes like a different song in it, which I think is really, really cool. And it just creates a satisfying ending to my favourite ELO album of all time, which is Out of the Blue.
Yeah, okay, that's the last one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's a closer.
Yeah, it's a very grounded song, and I just think it's a perfect closer for it.
Very cool.
The Turn to Stone's the opener, so that's a good opener. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. Got a fantastic opener and closer.
Yeah, pretty good opener and closer. All right, so I think we all got different number ones.
Yeah, I think we have.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, we don't. I'll have the.
Everybody didn't put Mr. Blue Sky. I was
Yeah.
basic and did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I guess, and our lists are somewhat pretty different. I guess that says maybe how good ELO is, or
Yeah, lots of variety, you know.
Yeah.
they don't like I said they don't have like I always thought they don't have one signature song like maybe some other bands. I don't know if that's a crazy thing to say. Like Led Zeppelin, Stair to Heaven's in everybody's top 10 probably, or The Who Won't Get Fooled Again should be in your number.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody should be in your top 10 if you're a Queen. I don't know. There's certain songs that almost like, yeah, that's the song. ELO, I don't know if people say Mr. Blue Sky, but I don't feel like there's one song, so that's interesting. But for me, number one, it's been mentioned, and it's Telephone Line, which I think Garrett and Adam maybe had in theirs.
Yeah, it's my number 4, I think.
But I don't think Bryer maybe didn't have it in his.
I didn't have anything off a whole new record.
Wow. I got 4 songs off on the record on my top 10.
Most of my list is taken by Out of the Blue.
Yeah, my top 3 songs are from New World Record. Just absolutely amazing. But yeah, Telephone Line. I never heard the song before until I feel like a couple of years ago. Like I said, reactions to the classics. I think they did a track by track review of the album.
Yeah.
That's when I didn't really know ELO at the time. So I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to this album so I can, watch the track by track review. And when I got the Telephone Line, I was just so blown away. I was like, this is an amazing song. Like, I just never heard anything like it before. And man, that really got me into ELO when I heard this song. I was like you said, it was just so cool, unique, different. And it's like 3 parts to the song, as Garrett said. And I'm glad he said that, because I was going to say the exact same thing about it. Was like, you got the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. And it's so cool how they did it, because usually, like I said, a normal strong song structure is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, or something like that. But this, you get to the pre-chorus and you think you're in the chorus, but then it's like, no, there's another chorus coming along. And like I said, I love it's so interesting how they start with the phone, how it feels like he's singing from a long distance or something, and he has that effect on it. And yeah, it's really cool. And you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And then you get to this doo-wop thing with doo-wop, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do. And it's like, I was like, oh my gosh, these harmonies are absolutely amazing. And bum, 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 ba-da-da. And it's like these really cool high notes. And like you said, Jeff then sings a little bit and it's just back and forth. And I'm like listening, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I'm enjoying this. And then you get to the chorus. And it's like, oh, this is like one of the best songs I've ever heard. I just love the chorus. Again, it's like when I heard the song the first time, I was like, I could not stop singing it because it'd go, oh, tell the phone line. It's like, oh, I love how they did the
Yeah,
like,
it's
so
really
cool.
good.
And it's like they start high and then they kind of go a little bit lower to tell the phone line. They go back up. I was like, vocally, that's just amazing. And the harmonies, and it's like living in twilight, and they're like hitting these cool high harmony notes, and it's like, oh man, I heard that chorus. I was like, oh, it's like I never heard the song before. Now it's like one of my favorite songs. In fact, like at some point I want to do a top 100 favorite songs of all time, like Bryer did it before. I have the list made out. Like I have my top 100 already made out. I just got to find time to put it in because I got all these other projects going on. So once I got a slot open, once I finish one of my projects, I'll probably get into that one at some point. But Telephone Line is in my top 100 favorite songs of all time. And which is crazy because most of the songs in my top 100 are songs I grew up with that I absolutely love. And there's a couple like Telephone Line, which I just heard for the first time in the last couple of years that are just like made such a big impact on me. And I'm like, everybody got to listen to the song. If you never heard the song, it's like, this song will change you. Like, it's so good. You'll like be like, wow, I never knew like a song could be like this. And like I said, I just love the arranging of the music, the combination of, and I love and also like the transition from each part of the song is so great. Cause like he ends the verse with, telephone, dun, dun, do, 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 dun, dun. Like, I love the drumming and the orchestra that kind of gets in between the verse into the pre-chorus. And then, yeah, it's just an absolutely amazing song to me. Definitely number one favorite ELO song and favorite song off of a New World record, which is my favorite album. Absolutely love that record. I feel like that you three are going to say Out of the Blue is your favorite record. So I'm in the minority here. Though Out of the Blue is my second favorite now. I don't know, Whole New Records, just every time I listen to it, I think if I make another top 100 favorite albums list, I think it's going to be higher on my list because every time I listen to the album, it gets higher for me because, like I said, because I have Do Ya, Living Thing, Tightrope, Telephone Line in there, and there's some other really great ones I don't even have. There's like 6 or 7 just absolutely amazing songs on that album, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my number one. So we had, I want to say Mr. Blue Sky, but I guess Rainy Concerto.
Yeah.
For Soundlabs.
Yes.
We got Can't Get You Out of My Head for Bryer. West Heroes,
Wild
was it?
West Hero.
Wild West Hero.
Wild West Heroes for Adam. Yeah, so interesting. All 3 different number ones. And
Yeah, it is interesting.
yeah, and I feel like none of us had 4 of the same songs. I thought we'd get one that, because I feel like 3 of us had Telephone Line. 3 of us, I think, had Living Thing, if I remember right. Yeah, because he didn't Bryer. 3 of us had Mr. Blue Sky, basically. So those were the 3 songs I think we all had the same. Strange Magic, I think 3 of us maybe had Strange
A few of us, yeah. I think a couple of us.
Right?
Yeah.
Did we mention Sweet, Sweet Talking Woman?
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, 3 of us had that one.
3 of you had that one. Okay, so we got 4 or 5 songs that 3 of us were agreeing on. Just one of us just didn't quite get it in their list. So that's interesting. So I'd say those are the 5 big ones because 3 of us had it, at least on our list of top 10. But yeah, interesting. So let's go to. Do you have any honorable mentions that you just want to shout out, Garrett?
I'm just gonna spit out all my favorite ELO songs that weren't in the list that I really wish that I could have included. in chronological order. So can't get it out of my head. Waterfall, Knight Rider, Poker, One Summer Dream, and then to New World Record, Tightrope, Rock Aria,
Yeah, good one.
So Fine, Shangri-La,
Yeah.
from Out of the Blue, It's Over, Starlight, Believe Me Now / Steppin' Out, Sweet as the Night, Wild West Hero, Birmingham Blues. From Discovery, Horace Wimp, Last Train to London, On the Run, Midnight Blue, that's a really good underrated one. And from Time, Twilight, and I'm not as familiar with some of their other albums, but those are all the ones that I would probably say.
Okay. How about you, Bryer? Do you got any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I'll go through. I'll kind of do a similar thing. I'll just kind of speed run through this. So another song from ELO 2, have Kuiyama, which was this is the last song, which is the 11-minute track. Yeah, of course, I like a bit of prog rock, so I was kind of into that
Yeah,
one. But
yeah.
Oh, and Roll Over Beethoven. How did I forget about that one?
Oh, yeah.
That's also pretty good. Yeah, on the third day, I just have Bluebird is Dead.
Showdown. I forgot about Showdown.
Yeah, Showdown.
And I also forgot 10538 Overture from No Answer. That
Yeah,
was also
I was
good.
thinking. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could mention that one too.
Yeah.
Also from El Dorado, I have Nobody's Child. I like that one. Face the Music. Garrett mentioned a couple of them already. Waterfall and Knight Rider. And I do want to kind of apologize for not having anything from this album, but basically the songs you all mentioned, like Tightrope, Telephone Line, and Living Thing, and even Shangri-La, I think, is also very good as well.
What's funny about Shangri-La is they literally name check the Beatles. It's like, we're fading like the Beatles on Hey Jude. Judy, 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 Judy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool. From Out of the Blue, I have Night in the City, Jungle, and Birmingham Blues. And from Discovery, I'll throw in Confusion as well. And
I forgot Confusion. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I'm not too familiar with too much of the later stuff, but also from Discovery, Last Train to London is also really good.
Yeah,
and
the bass on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not too familiar with the 80s onward, but I'll also throw in Xanadu. And another song that was from a later album is called All Right. It's from a later one. I forgot which one. I think it was from one called Zoom. That's what it was called.
Yeah,
I like that one.
2001 or so.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do a Last Train to London, Last Train to Clarksville battle at some point.
That'll be good.
Best Last Train. Or
It's 929. 29 Next Street, big city.
You got some honorable mentions, Adam?
I'm just looking at the songs on Spotify.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Oh No, Not Susan from on the third day.
Okay.
I'll also go with Evil Woman as well. Mm-hmm. And for New World Record, I'll probably go with Tightrope and So Fine and Do Ya and Shangri-La. I'll go with all of them.
Yes. So good.
Out of the Blue, I'll go with Turn to Stone. I'll probably also go with the whole concerto. And Sweet is the Night as well. And for Discovery, I'm going to go with Shine a Little Love and Confusion and The Diary of Horace Wimp and Last Train to London, Midnight Blue and Don't Bring Me Down. I think that's pretty much all of them, really. Maybe a couple more one time. And When I Was a Boy, I'll go with that. We'll go with that one as well.
Okay. Yeah. When someone mentioned that, Pete, I think.
Yeah. There's loads of really good ELO songs out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to mention. Yeah, just a few. Yeah, like I said, all the songs on I didn't mention on Whole New Record, like So Fine, Shangri-La, whatever. Rockaria, really good as well. I can't believe nobody else had Tightrope on their top 10. Man, I love that song.
That was that close to
Ah,
making the top 10. That
that is
like if I'd have had 2 more songs, I probably would have put Knight Rider and Tightrope.
Oh yeah, Tightrope's so cool. Then I have Danger Ahead. I don't know if anybody remembers that one. I can't remember where it came from, but I remember I liked it.
I think that was on Secret Messages.
Okay, probably because I love that album as well. I have a song called "Need Her Love," which to me was like the best love
Oh,
song.
that was on Discovery. That's another
Yeah.
one that I should have added on my list.
They don't do. I don't feel like they do a lot of straight love songs. This was like a really cool love song. I thought that really more slower down song. That I really enjoyed. Also have Secret Messages, which is the title track of the album. Really good. I have Mr. Blue Sky and Don't Bring Me Down also. An honorable mention. So, and Can't Get You Out of My Head's a good one. That's a good one. I could put that one on there as well.
Yeah.
I can't get that one out of my head either. It's so catchy.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah. So yeah, that's our top 10. The definitive top 10 ELO.
And I don't think it's
But
definitive.
4 experts on ELO. No, I don't know.
The ELO.
I don't know if we're the 4 experts, but 4 pretty good, pretty knowledgeable people.
Good looking men here.
Good looking men. So I think we covered ELO really, really well, and that's what I wanted. So happy because you guys know more about ELO than I do. So it was just fun listening to you guys talk and give me some more knowledge about a band I'm just kind of really getting into, I feel like. But yeah, really great.
It's been great.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Before we leave, just plug your channels, what you're doing next. Start with you, Garrett.
Okay, tomorrow, 4:30 Central Time, I'm going to be doing my top 10 Steely Dan songs with Bryers Music Showcase and Nick. Oh, there they are. There's 2 of their CDs at least.
Yeah, they're all on the side here.
He has all but one of their albums. But if you've been around my channel for a long time, you know that I'm really big into Steely Dan and their jazzy rock sound. It's kind of smooth. It's got a real vibe to it, and so we're going to be talking about our 10 songs from there.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know when it's going to be out. I think next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, we're going to have a Paul McCartney review out, and we're also planning on reviewing The Kinks Are the Village Green Preservation Society, which is an album that I just listened to today, which is amazing. I had no idea that album existed, but Nick, like after the stream, was like, "Let's listen to this album," and I'm like, "Wow, this is really good." So my friend Jeremy mentioned that album, and so I think we're gonna do that sometime soon. Maybe some CCR, Simon and Garfunkel. Maybe we'll have a surprise appearance from the Trippy Hippie. Who knows? But
I wish he was here today.
Yeah, he could make it.
Only.
you wish he was here? Oh, okay, well, maybe he can have an appearance if you just give me a few seconds. Let me go see if he's around. Hey, Mark! Mark!
Oh, boy.
Probably, he has to pay him still, right?
Yeah. He's not a dancing monkey or something like that.
He pays in with CDs.
Pay him with CDs, yeah.
Maybe.
Trippy Hippie, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to get paid for his appearances.
Really great talk about ELO. They're definitely one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy I got into them recently and know a little bit more about them than I used to, which I knew nothing about them before. So we did our top 10 British bands, and I didn't have it in there because I didn't know them well enough. But if I did them now, they'd be in my top 10. I would say now of my British bands. But yeah. I don't know if we want to go to you, Bryer, and just plug your channel.
Yeah, might as well, because you know, Trip Hipp's gonna take a while. So yeah, I'll make it quick. I don't have anything too major going on my channel except for the live stream, like Garrett already mentioned. That's gonna happen tomorrow. And then from, I guess the other big thing, like I guess I'm doing a live stream at the end of the month. Oh wait, I'll be quiet now.
Trip Hippie back.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Hey, you dudes and dudettes! Trippy Hippie is here to talk about Electric Light Band! Yay!
That's good to meet you, finally.
Who are you again? I don't know who's all on this channel.
Oh, it's Bryer. I appear very frequently.
You should know Bryer.
I don't watch the live streams because Trippy Hippie doesn't like the live streams. And he doesn't like the albums either.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess
Do you have a
makes sense.
favorite ELO album?
Trippy Hippie's favorite ELO album is No Answer, which
That's
was
right.
released in 1995 and
95.
features the great Roy Wood, which is Trippy Hippie's favorite member
That's your favorite.
of ELO.
Okay.
And Trippy Hippie was a big fan of The Move whenever they were big. And whenever they morphed into ELO, Trippy Hippie just can't stand them after that. But at least No Answer is kind of like The Move. So Trippy Hippie likes that one, but not any of the other ones.
The Move was better. Okay. I have to listen to it.
Yeah, same here.
They're not on Spotify, so you
Oh, they're
gotta
not?
find YouTube clips of the Move or get the record. Yes, who is the chosen one? Who is the chosen one? The chosen one says that it's good to see us on the. Is he talking about Trippy Hippie, or who is he talking about?
Somebody.
Someone.
You mentioned Adam.
Trippy Hippie's middle name is Adam.
Oh, okay.
It's Mark
Oh,
Adam
okay.
Butler.
Oh,
Good to know.
I didn't know that.
Anyway, Trippy Hippie's favorite ELO song is "Oh, Look at Me Now." That's Trippy Hippie's favorite ELO song.
Okay.
Anyway, Trippy Hippie needs to go take a nap. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
think it's way past your bedtime. Yeah.
I don't know
bye,
where Garrett
everybody.
went. Garrett must have got lost on the way back, so hopefully he gets back
Yeah.
here.
He's around.
Probably has to take a bathroom break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how I don't see Garrett and Trippy Hippie together ever.
Did you not watch the first video with the Trippy Hippie and the Beatles?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
We
You
were
guys
right next to each other, and also
right.
the Trippy Hippie entrance into the Soundlabs Studios contest. We were right
Yeah.
there next to each other.
That's right.
Oh,
You're
that's right. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Anyway, bye, dudes.
Bye, Mark.
By Trippy Hippie.
So as I was saying before about my channel,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I guess I'm doing a live stream at the end of the month because I did a poll about the city hall, like whether I should do it or not, and I guess people want me to do another live stream, so I guess I'll be doing that at the end of February, at the end of probably either the end of February or very big or March 1st. We'll see what happens. Probably March 1st because I probably have school on the day before. So yeah, that's pretty much the big thing. Other than that, it's just me going through talking about music, maybe do occasional shorts, and yeah, that's basically what I have going on.
I hope you guys have Reeling in the Years and Dirty Work in your list. That's all I got to say.
For what list?
For the
Steely
Steely
Dan.
Dan. Yeah.
Oh, you will find out tomorrow.
I'll be upset if Reeling in the Years isn't in there. No.
We'll see.
All right, Adam, what do you got going on your channel?
Well, tomorrow, so Sunday, I'll be doing a YouTube short on this live stream.
Okay.
About this
cool.
live stream, yeah. And
Nice.
on Tuesday, I'm going to be doing my top 5 songs and also ranking the albums of Jim Croce.
Okay.
Mm.
Awesome.
Yeah. On Thursday, I'm going to be doing a video on my top 10 album covers I have in my record collection.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm looking
cool.
forward to
Good
doing that. Yeah, I've been waiting to do that one for a while.
Yeah, you've done your favorite disc or favorite
Albums.
colored albums or something like that.
Oh yeah, I've done
Yeah.
favorite colored albums.
Yeah.
I recently got a red colored album.
Okay. That was the album.
It was a Copenhagen one.
Oh, okay.
it was a random coloured vinyl. You weren't sure which one you were going to get.
Oh, really?
To get the red one. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got this Best of Pentatonix Christmas,
Oh, okay. That's cool.
and it's green.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Kind of going for
I want
Christmas.
to get a
That's
green one.
That's the first green one I've gotten. I've gotten some like more reds and I would say more than anything. But yeah, so I always love getting that colored one. Always kind of cool to look at.
I'll find it out.
All right, for Jason the Millennial,
Got one more thing to show you first.
So this is the Colin Hay album. Sorry,
Oh.
Adam. Right in front of your face.
There it is.
I'm still here, guys.
This, and we didn't know what colour, yeah. Pinky,
Pinky, ready.
orangey.
It's more pinky than I remember, actually.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. I like the shade in that.
It's good to see somebody, actual person, rather than a tribute.
But we're going to see an ELO tribute. We're going to see an ELO tribute soon.
Oh,
We
wow.
are.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder how that will go.
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm sure it'll be really, really good.
So we'll do some videoing on that. I'll let you sign off soon.
Yeah, we'll do the live stream.
yeah. So for me, for Jason the Millennial, this is my first I'm doing this deep dive into a artist where I listen to all their discography and do a video about the band or artist, and then do a top 10. That's why we're doing this top 10 on ELO. I did a poll on my next one, and Tom Petty won the next one. So I'll be doing a deep dive at some point on Tom Petty and Tom Petty, the Heartbreakers. I did a top 10 on Adam's channel actually already. So I've done top 10 of Tom Petty. So I might do just a quick top 10 maybe on my channel just to put it on my channel. But so that'll be the next deep dive I do. Besides that, I'm still doing my 100 favorite albums. I'm at number 28 on there. I'm on ranking every single Beatles song. I'm getting close to top 50 on that one as well. So I'm sure I'll be coming out with some of those videos next week. And that's what I got going on. So thank you for everybody watching this live stream. And thank you to Garrett, Bryer, and Adam for coming on and talking about ELO. Really enjoyed it. And so that's the end of our stream. And so goodbye. And also go for the Chiefs for the Super Bowl tomorrow. Be very exciting.
Super Bowl
Root them on.
Sunday.
Unless you're an Eagles fan like Rich Strictly, you probably won't. But yeah, so thank you, everybody. And I hope everybody has a good weekend and has a good time watching Super Bowl.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Peace out. Peace and love.